Good evening from the Virtual Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, where a 2-mile race continues here in the XCAL Racing Web Shop Series. 6 events are in the books. This is round number 7. It's the XCAL Racing Web Shop 400. 200 laps about to go down at the 2-mile circuit in Fontana. So glad you could join us on the family of How to Suck at iRacing Networks. Marty Scala alongside Doug Burns. Doug, we're going super speedway racing once again. As always, when it comes to XCAL racing and street stocks at super speedways, we're always in for a treat.
Well, not only that, excuse me, the biggest purse of the year so far on the line here as well, and you know a lot of drivers still looking to get their car back up in the money here. This would be a great race to get it done, to get some money, and hopefully come home with some great points. Parker Retzlaff had a top 20 race here over the weekend in the Xfinity car. Can he better that here tonight?
Absolutely, we'll see what goes down. If you missed us last week at the Irwindale Speedway, it was Noah Carpenter that took home the win in round number 6, defeating Parker Retzlaff for the victory. It was a 1-2 finish for the JNS Racing Aces team. Point standings look like this. Retzlaff has the points lead up 67 points on Austin Edwards. Noah Carpenter third, 91 points back. Kendrick Cryer fourth, 129 points back. And fifth, Jeremy Gilliat, 159 points back. We're going to begin with our pre-race stories coming on in, talk with your favorite drivers. We'll begin with Austin Edwards in car number 18. Austin had a lot of contact at Irwindale last week with Parker Retzlaff. What happened there from your perspective, and how do you respond to it this week?
Yeah, Marty, it's tough to say. I'm not expecting anything to go haywire at a track like this. Since it's a super speedway, it's more about a drafting game. But Irwindale is a weird thing. Felt like we actually had Parker outrun on a fuel strategy and all that, and real hard to get around him. Had a couple of instances where he was kind of brake checking the corners and gave me a little door one time in a 1 and 2, and I didn't appreciate that, but I didn't drive him dirty for it, and I don't know, a couple times coming through 3 and 4, I had a little more roll center than he did, and got into the back of him, and from my perspective, it looked like he didn't drive through it like you're supposed to, and he ended up going around after the second instance of that, and then it just escalated from there. So I don't know. I don't think that I did anything wrong, but it's possible he might have not either. It could have just been differences in our cars, but I definitely don't appreciate the way he responded to that, so hoping that we can put it behind us and we can win some races fair and square, but it's all up to how the rest of the guys want to play this year.
You're starting from 4th position tonight. What are the keys going to be to victory for you?
Well, it's hard to say, Marty. You know, these super speedways, they've had some long green flag runs in the past, but if everybody gets too antsy, it's very possible for some yellows to come out. So, as always with XCAL, pit strategy is going to be huge. More so than anything, to make sure your pit strategy and all that works out, you got to stay around your teammates and all that. So, I'm going to have to make sure I stick close to Johnny B and Kendrick Cryer out here and see if we can get something done. So, a lot of factors going into tonight. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. We're just ready to sit here for 3 hours and run in circles.
Favorite item from the web shop real quick?
I got a t-shirt in there, don't I?
I think you do, yeah. So go buy that t-shirt for sure. So
Heck yeah.
all right, Austin, best of luck tonight.
Thank you, Marty.
That's Austin Evers, the number 18. Austin currently the quickest in practice at a 48.57 at the moment. Let's talk with one of our good friends in the broadcast. That's John Brancaccio. Johnny B, making his return. First start in 2023. Driving a Luke Turpin throwbacks paint scheme. What made you want to run that paint scheme for tonight, man?
Well, I figured I'm running the number. I might as well run the paint scheme.
I see. Yeah, you're in number 454. I believe you are filling in for Turpin as well tonight, so I would assume that.
I'm not actually sure who's running that car for Petey, but I'd like to thank Petey and Moonlight Speed Concepts for putting me in that car tonight.
That's awesome, man. What's your game plan as we go into a race like this?
Well,
we know you're normally known as a back marker in the field. However, though, you're pretty good at these super speedways, and you have a smart strategy. You're normally leading laps here at this place.
Well, usually I just hang around in the back and just start to move up, like towards the middle of the race. But I think I'm just going to start charging to the front right away. Just going to, keep it clean like I always do, and Just be safe out there. I'd like to also thank XCAL, the XCAL web shop, for putting on an awesome race tonight and having us all out there. I can't wait to get back, race with everybody. It's been a while, so.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're glad to have you back. Best of luck tonight.
All right, thanks, Marty. Have a good night.
You as well. That's Johnny B, John Brancaccio, starting in 34th tonight using a provisional. Let's talk with your pole sitter here in Brett Edgar in car number 69. Brett, your first start of the season, and you start on pole here at Auto Club. What's your confidence been like as we take the green flag here for tonight?
Well, my confidence usually is pretty high at these bigger tracks. I tend to start near the front. I just can't finish, so we'll be looking to fix that problem here tonight.
Is it important at a track like Auto Club to be starting near the front, especially after last year's race late in the season? That race was caution-free.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends if you're going to get a caution-free race or a race loaded with cautions, because you don't want to be in the middle when a wreck happens.
Real quick before we let you go, what's your favorite item from the XCAL Racing web shop?
Probably those new mouse pads. They look pretty good.
All right, well, we will let you go, Brett. Best of luck tonight. Have a lot of fun out there.
Thanks, Marty.
Brett Edgar, your pole position, quickest of all the heat winners from yesterday's qualifying sessions with a 48.483. Finally, we will talk with the man that likes to play FIFA. We call himself the Mad Bear, Matt Bear, as he gets set to go. Matt, apparently you have some words for a truck series driver who has the highest I rating in iRacing. That is Ty Majeski. What makes you want to do that?
No, I mean, we got the best competition out here week in, week out. He considers himself to be the best iRacer on here. So, I mean, I think there's only one way to prove it is to come out here and actually run with the best in the street stocks on iRacing. So, I mean, you can go run late models or whatever. That's cool. This is way more fun.
Absolutely. So, you've been the one that's been calling him out. How are you trying to reach out to him personally? Are you just reaching out to his DMs or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, just send him a DM here and there, letting him know I'm here and I ain't going anywhere. So, anytime he wants to smoke, same way with Retzlaff, they can both get it anytime, anywhere.
Matt, you're a winner at a similar 2-mile racetrack. That was at Michigan. I believe that, if I recall correctly, that was the massive Whale PD. You start from the 10th position tonight. What are your keys that could help you out to victory?
You just got to drive smart for the most part, Marty. It's long race. This XCAL Web Shop Series is no joke. I mean, you know that. You used to running here. Every race is minimum 2.5, 3 hours. It is an endurance battle. So, I mean, you can't just go out there and go full send from lap one. You're going to put yourself in too many bad spots at some point. So, it's really just make sure that you don't junk yourself in the first 175, 180 laps, and then hopefully you'll be up there when it counts there at the end.
Finally, do you play FIFA?
I play a little bit of FIFA. Do you?
I do on occasion, yeah. So maybe we should play sometime. So, all right,
brother. Well, I hope you'll have some fun up there tonight. I'm going to try to put on a little bit of a show for you.
All right, Matt. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Matt Bear gets set to go. He starts from the 10th position. Well, we're in the final seconds of our warm-up before we get to the race. Let's look at the speeds currently here at the moment. Austin Edwards currently your quickest at a 48.57. Colin Lawrence also second by 1,000th of a second off. Edwards' official time 48.568. Sean Patrick third with a 49.02. Same with Edmund Jones. Chase Johnson fifth with a 49.05. Alex Krapser sixth, third 49.34. Brett Edgar seventh with a 49.38. John Fraley eighth with a 49.38. Ninth is Albert Hewins with a 49.42. And 10th, Ryan Seams with a 49.43. Again, this race today brought to you by the XCAL Racing Web Shop. Make sure you head to www.xcalracing.com/shop for all your favorite things XCAL Racing. I think Brett mentioned those new mouse pads that are out. GNS Racing Aces have a mouse pad available for $20.95, I believe, plus shipping and handling as well. But we also got some winner tees too from Parker Retzlaff, Austin Edwards, Kyle Martin, Bartles, Noah Carpenter, and a whole lot more amongst the notables. Well, we are just about ready to go racing here in Fontana, California. Let's meet your field in the starting lineup. Again, aforementioned, Brett Edgar is on the pole next to Scott Gilliatt. That is row number 1. Sean Patrick and Austin Edwards make up row number 2. Chase Johnson his return next to Steven Rex. That is row number 3. Sean Andrews and Jose Gaudino, row number 4. And rounding out the top 10 tonight, Edmund Jones and Matt Baird doing it for Dale in the number 3. Row number 6, Noah Carpenter in the 42 and Ryan Seams in the 131. Row 7, Jeremy Gilliatt in the 27 and Albie Hewins in the 55. Row 8, Adam Gilliatt in car number 25, Kendrick Cryer in the 66. Row 9, Jim Johnson in the 39 and Daniel Miller back in car number 43. Row 10, John Fraley in the 26 and Carson Barrett in the 40. Row 11 is Kyle Bartles in the 94 and Art Hendren in the 37. Row 12, Derek Colson in the 5 and Gerald Thanos Poole in the 33. And in row 13, Colin Lawrence in 57, Robert Cole in the 7. These drivers in the top 15 in points locked in. Parker Retzlaff starts 27th, Alex Krebser 28th, Joe Campbell 29th, Zach Edwards 30th. Rest of the field in provisionals, row 16, Kieran Leftander in the 46, Mason Foster in the 96, row 17, Stephen Wett in the 15, John Brancaccio in the 454, and starting from the rear tonight, Brent Meckes in the 44 in 35th. Well, Doug, we got a good one here tonight. 200 laps for 400 miles, a fuel window 62 laps. That's without the draft. With the draft, I'm seeing just about maybe 70 to 80 laps or so.
I think 70 will be about where we see most of these guys come in. It's going to be an exciting night, and unfortunately, I cannot talk a whole lot. So you've got your hands full tonight, Marty, but I can tell you a $730 purse on the line here tonight. Things are going to get a bit dicey out there. We heard Matt talk about being patient. I don't think that patience is going to last long. We usually see these guys keep it clean early. I don't know that that's going to happen tonight.
Absolutely. It should be a fun one here at the Auto Club Speedway in the XCAL Racing Web Shop Series. Glad you could join us on the family of How to Suck at iRacing. We're set for a good one here for round 7 of the 2023 season. Brett Edgar, Scott Gilliatt will bring us to green. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Green flag is out. It's showtime, California style.
And Marty, it's worth noting that right off the start, when we get a caution here, because it is a super speedway, it is a fixed setup. Everybody's got the same car under them tonight, and restarts are not on the leader. They are on the green flag tonight, so a little bit of a change up here could cause a little excitement. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely, that's definitely a great point you make as the field comes roaring off turn number 2. You see a lot of drivers headed to that skid pad to drop to the rear. A lot of variable strategies. Some drivers want to play safe hanging on the back. Some drivers want to get to the front instantly and pick up those 5 bonus points for leading a lap. You see Austin Evans and Sean Patrick door to door off of turn number 4. They are double wide amongst the front 6-7 rows or so at the stripe. It looks like it will be the 18 of Austin Edwards, barely by a bumper, leads lap 1. You got red cars that are the front row as we are our circuit in.
And it's worth noting too, hey, if you have a favorite driver in the field, as always, drop in the comments, let us know you're cheering for them. A lot of these drivers listen in just to hear their names called out on the broadcast, so make sure you're cheering for your favorite driver. There's still time to hit like and share and follow, subscribe, hit all those buttons, hit the share, invite your friends and family. I think there's still a few spots left in the stands.
So Edwards, after leading the first lap, goes up the racetrack, 3 wide for second spot. Stephen Rex and Chase Johnson go apart in that battle. Sean Patrick with the lead in the 11. Impressive to see him up in the front of the field. Oh, we got trouble already in the back. Caution is out. That's the 04 and collects more. That's Sean Andrews that went around, the first driver. Also the 46 of Kieran Leftander. Ah, yuck. We only get 3.75 miles in the book, and the caution flag is out.
Sean Patrick also involved in this. Let's see if we can see where this whole thing started. Back there by Joe Campbell gets caught up in it, and it starts just ahead of him with the, I could not tell if that was the 04 that went up the track. Yeah, the 04. Let's see if there was some bouncing around. A lot of Sean Andrews looked like he might have gotten pinched in the middle here. Oh yeah, he bounces off the outside car, collects several others, everybody trying to check up, but Sean Andrews and several others out having problems early. Looks like Alex Crapser might have caught the worst of this one.
I think Noah Carpenter also got a piece of it too. A lot of good cars involved that had a chance to win this one. That's a tough break you see there. May have been a little bit too early to go 3 wide, especially that close there, Doug.
Well, we did see some 4 and 5 wide as guys were dropping back, but wow, Zach Edwards gets a couple of good whacks in that mess. A lot of good cars, like you said, out. Several had to tow to pit road. It was a bit early to get aggressive, but we had several guys hanging out the back, as we always do, and it looks like a lot of drivers in just to top off on fuel here early.
Absolutely, probably a good idea there. Joe Campbell also got a piece of it. He had that thing missed for like 200, 300 feet, and then you see the 57 that was also involved. That's Colin Lawrence, just rammed right into him.
And Joe Campbell.
And then they went head on into the infield.
They did, and Joe is always one to watch at these super speedway races. He is just so fast. I mean, he got the win at Charlotte last year, and every time we're at these super speedway races, J&S, they work together, they get up to the front, and they stay up in the front. That team is really, really good getting there together, so we'll have to see. Imagine if he doesn't have too much damage, he can pull forward, but it looks like Joe may already be out.
Absolutely likely is out of this race. Derek Colson receives the black flag. There will be no wave arounds because we had all drivers on the lead lap at the time. So while we've got a couple of moments here before we go back to the green flag, we'll actually get some wave arounds here. I think the only one from Daniel Miller. But while we are at it, Doug, what are your keys to victory here for tonight's race?
Number one key, stay out of trouble. I really like it when these, especially seeing the aggression here already, I really like the idea of some of these guys hanging out just off the back of the lead pack, giving themselves some breathing room. It's going to be it's a crapshoot, just like Daytona and Talladega, but I think just keeping the car clean is going to be the biggest thing here tonight.
And it seems like that as well. We're already seeing early on here in this race some stuff that's obviously a lot similar to Michigan. The 2 wide, 3 wide racing that gets really insane. If we get a late race restart in this one, drivers could be going 4 or 5 wide or something like that. It's crazy what a track like Auto Club can do.
We saw 6 wide here last year, but the big difference between Auto Club and Michigan is that back straightaway and into turn 3 is so bumpy. We'll watch closely once they get back up to speed. These cars are just bouncing down the back straightaway, bouncing into turn 3, so you got to get the car set and you got to give yourself breathing room, especially right there as you go off into 3, trying to get the nose set. You're in the draft, you don't have all the grip, and the car can really slide up the track.
Absolutely. So we're set for our first restart of the evening. We'll put 5 laps up on the board here. Sean Patrick and Edmund Jones, row number 1. Austin Edwards, Stephen Rex, row 2. Ryan Seams, Chase Johnson, row 3. Matt Bear, Jose Gaudino, row 4. Adam Gilliat and Carson Barrett round out the top 10. As we'll get set to come back to the green flag. Aaron Hillebush has the green flag in hand. Keep in mind, have to restart on his green. It's not like in regular oval races where the leader can restart. It's a super speedway race considered by XCAL Racing. So you have to go on the green flag. We are back racing. Some drivers making some lane changes. But it's Sean Patrick that gets the jump, entering turn number 1. Austin Edwards, Edmund Jones side by side for the 2nd position on the track. Flying Ryan Seams up there, up 8 spots from the drop of the green flag. He runs in the 4th position.
Big surprise to not see the Ryan Seams fan club out here in full force. Hey, good evening, Kevin. Just not seeing the full Ryan. Now the flying Ryan Seams come out here. They're starting to show up. Good to see him back up here in the top 5. And I forgot to look this afternoon, but it is. I know we've got some flying Ryan Seams stuff coming to the XCAL web shop soon.
I believe we do, and at the race here at the line, give it to Edmund Jones. about this? You don't see Edmund Jones up in the front that often. The driver of the Warlord Racing 51, self-owned, leading this field right now. Very impressive at the moment, Doug.
Self-owned, but he's got a lot of friends out there. That team works well with Austin Edwards and his crew, so there's a lot of guys out there willing to work and help Edmund Jones out here. And a lot of guys from the Jones BS Racing League out here, like Jim Johnson back in 16th. He finds the right people. That team, that group could be hard to beat.
Jones got a push from Steven Rex, and then Jones decided to pop down low. Rex with a run to the outside, got a nice bump draft from the 28 of Chase Johnson. Rex will have the lead here at the start-finish line in the dropping bombs machine. Chase Johnson giving him a good push. Very impressed to see that Derek Colson own ride up near the front.
Yeah, Steven Rex was putting on a show last week as well at Lanier. At Irwindale. Yeah, he's back up front, but as soon as he gets his 5 bonus points, he is dropping to the back. Wise move. And as you watch him come down this back straightaway, you see just how much these cars are bouncing as they go off into turn 3.
Jones will do the same thing as well. He'll drop to the back of the field. That's going to be a notable strategy from a lot of drivers. Of course, no stages. Only bonus points are available, or if you lead, you get the fastest lap, or you're the hard charger in the race. Chase Johnson will continue to lead, but here comes up on the top shelf Jose Gaudino with the help he needs from Carson Barrett. Super Speedway races are Jose's best. His best finish in XCAL racing was second at that one track a couple seasons ago.
Would that be Texas?
Yes, that would be Texas.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Jose being up front. I did talk to Gerald last night, and he said he really expected his team to be extremely strong here tonight. I would expect to see all the Flaming Karma cars up here at the end of this race battling for the win.
Yep, that's his teammate Carson Barrett behind him, in the number 40. They're 1 and 2 at the moment. First guy in the bottom is Johnson in third. Kyle Gardos, and now we start to see 3x3 racing. First guy on the outside, that's Johnny B doing it for Luke Turpin. He's up into the 3 spot, up 31 spots. Start 34th. He's right in P3 at the moment, Doug.
Not a big surprise there. That Johnny B knows how to get it done at these races. There's several of these aces here tonight that are just really good at these super speedway races, and I think Brancaccio is going to have a great run here tonight. Another one making a move up through the field quickly, up 19 spots, is Robert Colgan in the 7 car, up 19 spots. Also making his way forward in the 96 is Mason Foster.
Oh! Kyle Bardo's got a touch from Carson Barrett. They doored in the race for second. I was riding on board with the 94 in my end. He got loosey-goosey, but luckily he saved it. We are 10 laps in the books of this one, and they are triple deep. Very surprised to see it, especially that we have 1 caution already in this race.
Big surprise to see this much aggression this early. But, you know, everybody knows how big the purse is here tonight. They know the caution could happen. The big one could happen at any moment. Some of these guys are trying to get off the back and get somewhere safe, and probably the safest place right up at the front. Guys are fighting to keep it up there.
Absolutely. Johnny B's got to run on the outside. Push comes from Robert Colgan. Brancaccio works well with the Jeff Edgar-owned race team from time to time as they come to the line. It's going to be 3 wide here, actually rather be 2 wide, and Brancaccio leads with that push from Colgan in the 7. First guy in the middle in the ham of the sandwich is Barrett, up 19 spots as Doug mentioned earlier. First guy on the bottom is Johnson in car number 28. No one going to that upper groove that's right next to that safer barrier. Just keep in mind, when we get later on in this long run, that upper groove will be full of marbles.
It really will. Some of these guys are absolutely pushing to the limit already here tonight. And things are going to get exciting.
Something that makes me think of here with all the pushing we're seeing here, and we don't talk about it this much at super speedways, but with all the pushing, I think we should talk about it. You don't want to really push too hard on the guy in front because, number one, you don't want to bump draft them too hard because you want to have it lined up perfectly. But also, it can cook the water temperature through the grill as that's covered up.
Yeah, these guys have to be careful and keep an eye on temperature. We'll see throughout the night guys pull out a line on a straightaway just for a second, just to cool off that engine temperature as much as possible before sliding back in. And once we've seen it earlier this season where bump drafting goes wrong and the guy pushing ends up blowing an engine, guarantee you some of these drivers have been reminded of that this week.
Tandem racing breaking out here early in Fontana, California. Brancaccio gets a push from Carson Barrett. Colgan and Bartles, the teammates, work each other out now. Field has simmered down just a bit to double wide formation. John Brancaccio is leading this pack. Zach Edwards in the 30s in a second pack, rather. The caboose in this pack is Albert Hewins, and we should talk about that second tray at the moment that's being very safe. Then sorry, I don't blame them one bit. Parker Retzlaff, Alex Krapser, Derek Olson, Zach Edwards just work together in a single file train. They don't want to pass each other at the moment.
As long as they stay single file and work well together, I mean, they're 6 seconds back, so they're in a safe zone. But as long as they stay single file, they could, if they tighten up, they could start closing back up in no time. And Albie Hewins just ahead could drop off. These guys sitting 2 and 3 wide up here, yeah, they are going fast with that single file line. It is definitely going to be able to go a lot faster. Parker definitely knows how to get some drafting done. Had a top 20 finish in the Xfinity race here this weekend.
And let's remember, on a super speedway, finished in the top 5 at Daytona to kick off the season. That was his second ever top 10 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. That car was as fast as Xfinity 10G. Sorry, I just had to say it. But meanwhile, Colgan a little bit loose off of the push from Kyle Bartles. No one working up on the outside. A long ways back from the 7 and the 94. That's where you'll find Stephen Rex, who's riding in the 13th position. Then Jim Johnson gives him the push. I think a lot of drivers have learned with the aggressive racing, time to be patient. Everyone wants to try and hug that white line.
Yeah, and we know in races past here in Michigan, after a while that outside line does become the fastest line. As long as we've got guys up there laying some rubber down, which has happened a lot already here, I think we will see a lot more of that. And I think this could, this outside line could start making its way forward very quickly.
Not sure if you noticed there, though, Doug, but at the start-finish line, John Brancaccio threw a good block on Carson Barrett, and Brancaccio, it's pretty much the rabbit out of the hat at the moment. Lonely up on the top, no one wants to push him. Barrett has shuffled back down to the bottom. He's the third car on the basement line. He wants that bottom step of the podium, but it's Kyle Bartles that continues to hold the troops at bay. But Brancaccio's doing a good job fighting on the high side with very little help. And he's not even side drafting.
I was going to say, we have seen guys hold a pretty good position up top, but if they get down there, we've seen guys come from behind by themselves using that side draft to just charge forward here if they time the momentum right. We could see something like that happen again here late in the race. I have to wonder if Brancaccio, now that he's got some laps led, maybe he's not fighting, maybe he's just trying to let everybody go by peacefully.
Could be doing that as well. You see Barrett just coming up to the outside just a little bit, try and get some air out from that grill to cool down the temperatures from the water and oil side of things. Doesn't want to cook that engine, like I mentioned a couple of moments ago. Chase Johnson moves up to the 4th spot, then it's 3 wide for 5th. Stephen Rex, even after being outside the top 10 on that high side, he was able to get a toe off the 454 and has moved his way up to the 5th spot. He is battling with Sean Patrick for the position.
I think we're seeing Stephen Rex actually practice, and we'll see some other drivers do this throughout the night. They'll go way back and then suddenly come charging up through the field. They're timing how long it'll take them to charge through the field, how big of a run they have to get, and what strategy to use to go from the back to the front.
So Kyle Bartles currently leading at the moment. Keep in mind he won the season opener this season at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, also a super speedway track per XCAL racing rules. How does that help him out coming into tonight at Auto Club?
Drafting practice and practice with the pit stop, fuel strategy, finding out how far he can stretch out front versus in the draft, and just being able to play with the air around the car. He got all that experience. It's going to pay off here tonight.
Absolutely. Pack is starting to spread apart just a bit more, although it's the top 27 that are nose to tail at the moment. Colgan giving a huge push to Kyle Bartos. Just look at that. If you look closely, those rear tires just about getting lifted off the ground, and Colgan was just a bit loose off of turn number 2. Let's go back as well. Some other guys we're seeing in this pack that we've yet to talk about. One of them, Mason Foster, up 23 spots at number 96. Remember a couple weeks ago, we finished 19th at USA after hitting the attenuator trying to pit. Luckily, there's further ways back to pit, but there is an attenuator here at Auto Club. In fact, when I did a NASCAR Xfinity broadcast a couple nights ago at Auto Club, someone spun into the attenuator and flipped the car.
Ouch, that always hurts and kind of ends your night when that when that occurs. Mason is on a charge, and he is one that we have seen up front winning races both here and at Michigan in the past, so he's going to be one to watch as the night goes on as well.
Just had a change for the lead. Robert Colgan takes the number 7 to the point. This should be 5 bonus points for him as well. Nice push from the 94 of Bartles. Robert Colgan, one that's been able to provide some color analysis for us a lot this season, so we definitely appreciate him doing that so far. 20 laps currently in the books. It's Colgan, Barrett, Bartles, your top 3. Jim Johnson, just set the fastest lap a couple moments ago with a 48.57. Had that huge toe off of Barrett. He wants to push him to the lead, Doug.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise to see so many people getting up here. We know that a lot of these guys are just playing for bonus points here, but the number of cars that have charged up through the field so far to get that 5 bonus points, and worth noting, Jim Johnson is one of those cars who just set the fastest lap of the night so far.
Seeing some drivers as well peek below the white line. Keep in mind, per XCAL racing rules, you are not allowed to advance your position below that white line. If you do, you have to give it up, or you will be penalized. If you force someone below the white line, you may be penalized.
Rule, and we've seen guys get below that line a couple of times this season, so everybody's got to be a little bit careful. Everybody's always going to try and push the limit of the rules, but it does come down to an interpretation by race control, and that can, you just got to make sure you do everything right.
How about this? The 40 takes the lead away with that push from Johnson. Johnson looks to move up to second. Remember, got sent down pit road by Matthew Brinson at Rockingham. Best finish of the season is a 4th at USA. So Johnson can show some speed. He's got a chance here to win. They are approaching some lap traffic as well. That is Joe Campbell in the 63, who was involved in that first caution. In fact, I think he actually just got back on track about a lap ago, and his car really is off the pace. He'll probably let all the leaders go by, but I have a feeling that he's not happy at somebody.
I would imagine not. He is showing about 16 to 20 miles an hour off the pace right now, so they're going to swallow him up quickly. His best hope at this point is to just hang on, get into this draft. Hopefully that car still has the engine at full song and it's just aero damage slowing him down. Oh, a little bobble out of Joe down on the bottom. And this is about to get very interesting. Joe drops down to the bottom now, but wow. Jim Johnson, meanwhile, leads for the first time.
Yeah, nearly gave everyone a heart attack there. As yes, Johnson gets bonus points for leading the lap. Mason Foster has made his way up into the 3rd position, up 29 spots. Biggest mover so far in this race. Mason Foster up 29, make it up 30 if he takes 2nd. Up 22 is Robert Colgan in 4th. Up 20, Brent Meckes in 3rd. Then up 18 in 6th, Gerald Daniel Spool. And up 17 in 3rd is Carson Bear. That's the top 5 in terms of biggest movers.
And don't ever count Gerald Poole out at a draft track. He is just going to charge forward. He'll be another one that he'll work his way up here. He's going to get some bonus points. Expect him to drop to the back. And sometime between the 1st and 2nd pit stop, expect him to see him charge back through the pack at full speed, get to the front, and then drop back. He'll be out here testing to see what he's got to do to get to the front.
Foster gets the lane as he takes a peek underneath on Johnson for the race lead, and Johnson will let him have it. Now there's a Mr. Lonely up on the outside, trying to see who that is. I believe that is that Gerald Poole in 33? It is. Wow.
Thanos up on the high side. He's going to go to the lead. He's going to try and get those bonus points here.
He just snapped instantly down the back chute, all the way next to the safety barrier, got that arrow cushion. I didn't even need any help one bit to do it. Thanos will take the lead at the start-finish line.
Not a surprise at all. Now expect Thanos to drop back here in the next lap or two to play it safe. Who knows? He may have changed up his race strategy for tonight. Not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm fully expecting to see him drop to the back and test run front to back a few times tonight.
And 3 currently single file, then you've got just about 4 rows of double file racing, then single file again for about 5 cars behind them.
And wow, it's you can really see for the first time a little bit of bobbling out of these cars as these tires start to wear down. Usually not an issue at these kind of tracks, but does look like tire wear may be an issue here tonight.
Keep in mind, this is a very abrasive racetrack. It has not been repaved since its opening in 1997. That last lap for Gerald Poole, 48.86. That's just about 600ths off the pace, but obviously he is in the draft. But yes, this could get crazy later on in a green flag run if these tires start to fade out. I expect a lot of drivers during pit stops to go for 4 tires and fuel.
And Matika is back as always. Her and the kids cheering on Edmund. Edmund having another great run here tonight, currently in 5th.
Edmund Jones started inside the top 10. He's been consistent up there all night long. Lone man up top currently is Johnson, that 39. He may be starting to fade back as everyone has shifted down to the bottom. And it's once again, drivers want to be patient. Ways back, still up on the outside. That's Hendren in the 37, Brancaccio in the 454. They're in 20th and 23rd place respectively at the moment.
We cannot both lose our voices during this race.
We cannot lose our voices.
It's only one of us, and I called it yesterday.
What I was going to say is that they're just trying to see if they can get something going on the outside, but it just doesn't seem like it is.
Speaking of getting something going, we talked earlier about this group led by Parker Retzlaff, and they were over 6 seconds back. As we get about halfway through the fuel run, they have started closing the gap back down to 4.6 seconds for the moment, and they are gaining on the lead pack. Primarily, these guys are staying single file, whereas this group up ahead, they're all kind of spread out side by side. Retzlaff leading this group nose to tail, making sure they take every advantage here tonight.
From the looks of it here in the next lap or two or so, that the drivers will shed down to a single file line, which can definitely increase the gap. It was at 4.5 a couple moments ago. It's now at 4.7 and continues to increase. That's the gap between Hewins and Retzlaff. Retzlaff's in turn 3. Leaders are coming to the start-finish line right now at the moment as we work lap 30.
Really surprised Gerald is still out front, but I know he said he had some fast cars here tonight. That team is going to be tough to beat, especially if they all get together. I do know there is a bit of a strategy, and he's got Carson up there with him. So it's just going to be a matter of Godino getting back up there to help him out. Those 3 get together, the rest of the field could be in trouble.
Yeah, Godino's currently running in the 25th position. Taking a look at the rest of their drivers here. Of course, you know, Gerald Poole is your race leader. Carson Barrett scored in the 3rd spot. And Mason Foster is running 2nd. So it's a 1, 2, 3 Flaming Karma paint job team at the moment. You know, normally when we've seen races in the past here, Doug, at super speedways, it's always come down to a race between the Moonlight Paint Schemes team or Moonlight Speed Concepts team / Edwards High Performance team, which is what it was last season, against the JNS Racing squad. If Flaming Karma gets into this could get interesting if we see like a big 3 or something.
It definitely could get interesting now that they've got their team together, just missing one driver. But yeah, it looks like Gerald's actually going to make sure his team, everybody gets to lead a lap here. But I think looks like Edmund may have some other ideas there, as well as can't tell who else is back there, but it looks.
Daniel Miller's also up there too, but he just went a lap down a couple moments ago. He's trying to get back on the lead lap, but also at the same time he wants to help his teammates out. He is scored in 32nd.
So a lot of guys up here and a lot of different teams starting to get into the mix. And you mentioned EHP last year. Who could forget what happened in Michigan last year with EHP? The smartest strategy we've ever seen played out.
And who can't forget what happened at Charlotte to end the season last year? Austin Evans getting some help from his teammates to try and make it to the end.
Yeah, actually legitimately being pushed around the track because he ran out of fuel. But you know, that 4 and 5 wide trick they did at Michigan last year, that was crazy. And I know not something we'll likely ever see again. I think the only team big enough now to do it would be the JNS Consortium. But man, that was a pretty impressive and smart move by them. They controlled the first half of the race.
Absolutely. So again, Daniel Miller is not the race leader. Let's just keep that in mind when you look at this train. It is Carson Barrett that has taken the number 40 to the point. Looking on back, one car is on the outside still, and that's Godino in 24th. He's just trying everything on that second group, but it's just not coming in one bit.
I think it'll be a while, but you really... Oh! As the 454 right below him gets way loose. Godino's going to have to get closer to that inside line, get more side draft here to be able to make it his way forward. He can do it, but he's going to have to get down to the bottom.
Yeah, it's Brancaccio in the 24th position. Very close call there, that's for sure.
Interesting. Looks like Flaming Karma is going to rotate their drivers through to make sure all their drivers get some bonus points here.
Absolutely. That's a great plan to get those 5 bonus points and maybe get something in more bonus points if they clinch the most laps led. And it could vary right now early on here at the moment. 34 laps will go up on the board this time by. It's Carson Barrett, Gerald Poole, Mason Foster, Edmund Jones, and Jim Johnson, the top 5. Stay with us here at Auto Club. We go side by side. 36 laps complete here at Auto Club as we welcome you back here to the XCAL Racing Web Shop 400 at the Auto Club Speedway. Make sure you check out xcalracing.com/shop to purchase all your favorite things XCAL Racing. Right now, our newest products, a J&S Racing Aces mouse pad. We got a lot of AI material, some of your favorite winter tees. We also got some massive Whale PD merchandise. Are available. Aaron should put that on discount because that event's pretty much over.
Is it over or is it coming soon?
It could be one of the others. However, though, let me check. This one says 2022. So, there you go. Clearance sale. Aaron, take notes. xcalracing.com/shop.
I do need another tank top, just saying.
Yes, you do. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Want to say hello to Tyler watching in the chat, who is rooting for Parker Retzlaff. Matika watching is always rooting for Edmund Jones. Kevin, I like the shout out he gave you, Doug, that he wished you lived closer because local racetrack in Missouri is looking for an announcer. There's actually 2 tracks in Missouri looking for an announcer. That track and the Worldwide Technology Dragster at Gateway. Jeff says it's Fastlane hunting tonight. And we all know who that is, obviously. And yes, the Flying Ryan crew is with us tonight as well. First and 15 also rooting for Johnny B, saying that he is a god. So I like it. Keep the chats coming. We're so glad you could join us here tonight.
I'm really happy that. Look at how supportive Tailbird is being of Parker.
I know, right? I know. I just had to troll him once.
Oh, sorry, Gilbert, but it was just too funny.
It really was. We were laughing so hard in the chat.
Oh, boy. Yeah, definitely cheering on Art Hendren. Let's talk about Art, who has had a much, much better season this season.
Yes.
Him and Albie Hewins both have really come alive this season. Art currently running in 23rd. Just riding along at the moment, seeing a lot of... It looks like most of the field is going to stay single file here for a while, just riding it out to that first pit stop around lap 70. But Art there in the 37 car, currently sitting in 23rd, just hanging out and doing everything right. He has been getting faster and better every single week. Albie Hewins, too, seems to have broken some of the bad luck from last season.
Now let's look down the road here when it comes to pit stops, because this always gets interesting. The field is spread apart. You see the teams all playing together. Do you want to pit early or do you want to pit late? How do you look at things? It's really a fine needle. You got to try and find that precise mark.
I have always been of the opinion you stretch it as long as you can. Because how many times have we seen a situation where the guy that gets in there, tries to short pit it, the caution comes out due to incidents on pit road or coming to pit road or leaving pit road. The longer you can stretch it during a green flag pit cycle, the better off you're going to be in the long run.
Absolutely, that could be very key. I'm one that does like to pit late, especially as well when it comes to a track like Auto Club that's abrasive. You have that fresher tire wear that could play out to your advantage.
Yeah, even a difference of 2, 3, 4 laps here when you're not in these big packs, that fresher tires could just make a huge, huge difference. Could see somebody come charging up through the field, start picking up cars and regrouping a group even quicker that gets them back up toward the front.
Absolutely. So your top 10 at the moment: Carson Barrett, Gerald Poole, Mason Foster, Edmund Jones, Jim Johnson, Brent Meckes, Brett Edgar, Robert Colgan, Kyle Bartles, and Chase Johnson. That single file train we were talking about is just about 5 seconds back in Parker Retzlaff, Zach Edwards, Alex Krapser, and Derek Colson. Give you another look at the point standings. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
They were gaining some ground there for a while, but and it looks like they're inching a little closer. But now that lead pack has gotten mostly single file, it's going to be a lot harder for them to gain ground.
Let's take a look at some of these point standings here at the moment. We talked about the top 5 in points. Let's look at the other drivers in points. Alex Krapser and Jeff Edgar are within striking distance of Parker Retzlaff's points gap. This is entirely the owner's points. So the 00 is owned by Danielle Sargent. Jeff Edgar, who owns the 7, 192 points back in 7th. Alex Krapser, 186 points back. Then you got Matt Bear in 8th, Steven Rex 9th, Jonathan Brunson 8th through 10th. Bear 826 points, Rex 808 points, Jonathan Bronson 801 points. Just heard something interesting out of the Matt Bear radio on the Will Petey scanners. He says we are in a 35-car train, so you guys need to check the you-know-what up. I like it. I like it. That's something Dale would say.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Bear is not one known for a lot of patience. If he's out there, he wants to get racing. He just needs somebody to hop up and go with him, and he'll take off. So I don't think there's Joe Campbell. Looks like he's going to lose another lap. Obviously, Joe a lot of laps down after that early incident.
Yeah, Joe's just hoping for track position here at the moment, trying to see if he can pick up some points here as much as he can. Joe started in the 29th position, so that doesn't really help to his credit, especially after being involved in that in the lone caution of this race. Definitely a tough race for him, who came in 11th in the points, 755. Doug, you talked about it earlier. One XCAL Racing win that took place at Charlotte Motor Speedway last season.
It's worth noting, too, one of the guys back in Retzlaff's group right now is Derek Colson, currently running in 31st, but this is his 80th XCAL start. So 80 starts. He is currently the XCAL Ironman, followed by Jose Gadino with 65, Kendrick Driver 55, Mason Foster is at 50 tonight. And this, of course, we mentioned Johnny B's first start of the season.
It's really pretty cool to see there. So congratulations to those guys on hitting some milestones. Meanwhile, 3 wide near the front. Keep in mind, Daniel Miller, not the leader. Carson Barrett, Jared Holt, they look like they're just having fun out there amongst those front spots.
Well, when the team owner's sitting in second place right now, these guys, they're talking. They have a strategy that they're playing. And I think Gerald's just completely in control of this team right now. So they're out there having a good time. They've got the top 3 spots. Jose's a little further back. Hasn't been able to find his way back up to that group. But he will. He is known for finding his way forward. So we'll see how this night goes. But yeah, all they have to do is just keep riding until pit stops or a caution.
So you've got the Flaming Karma Paint Shop crew up there. Then behind them, pretty much, you got a majority of the Fastlane Motorsports drivers / Tri-E crew drivers. There's a look at Brent Meckes in the number 44. He's in 6th. Brett Edgar 7th. Robert Colgan 8th. Kyle Bartels 9th. Looking pretty impressive right up in the front. And again, keep in mind, Bartels won at Charlotte to begin the season.
Yeah, it's all about teamwork tonight. These guys know they have to get hooked up with their teammates to make any kind of move here. And they're all sitting around talking, doing whatever they need to do. In a situation like what we see up front, the J&S guys have a lap car that is at full speed that they can sit behind and save a little fuel here to stretch that. So these guys can go a little bit further on fuel, saves them a lap or two. Maybe they can extend that run. Maybe they get lucky with a caution.
Tell you as well, that second line is starting to trim the gap down. 2.7 seconds. Parker Retzlaff, Zach Edwards, Alex Krapser, Derek Olsen. They're doing a good job here so far. And as I say that, Zach Edwards is blinking, and Aaron Hillebush expressed this in the drivers' meeting today. If you blink on live television, you will be forced to do pre-mandatory minimum practice.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So, noticing as well as I look ahead in the back of this pack, a lot of drivers starting to lose that Peloton train, like John Brancaccio, Albert Hewings, Jose Godino trying to stay in there. Other than that, it is Stephen Wetton all the way through to Carson Barrett and Daniel Miller.
24 cars still in the lead draft. Some of these guys leaving a little bit of room. like Kieran Lifflander, he's sitting just a little bit back, about a quarter second back, keeping air on the nose of the car. Also is still able to take advantage of the draft here, but doesn't need to make any moves here soon. We're just 50 laps in. These guys just need to ride it out, and we may see a few laps here of ride it out. After that first pit stop, though, things are really going to pick up, and there will not be a peaceful moment during this race. So these guys taking this moment to catch their breath.
Yeah, absolutely. We are 25% of the way through here at the Auto Club Speedway. And again, Carson Barrett still continues to lead. He's led the most laps so far in this one. Again, we are watching here, if you just joined us, while you're seeing some choo-choo train action. So everyone's just trying to be patient. This is a long race, 200 laps. We're going to be 50 laps in the books here this time by. And we've got the first round of green flag pit stops happening in just about 20 laps. So no one really wants to take any huge aggressive risk, go through and stuff like that. They just feel really comfortable hugging the white out of bounds line.
Yeah, they definitely are. Good evening, Sean. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, these guys just playing it as safe as possible here. Just until that first pit stop. Roughly 20 laps away. We're probably here in about 10 laps. We'll start to see some guys make some drastic moves just to get hooked up with their teammates, whether it be drop out of line or try and run toward the front. But it looks like that Flaming Karma team, man, they have all the advantage right now.
Absolutely. They're showing the speed early. But, again, like I say, you never know late in the race. Like, again, I'll provide an example here with the guys like Retzlaff and Zach Edwards, Alex Krapser, Derek Colson, but the majority JNS Racing. You never know what will happen. Hey, they could be hanging out in the back the entire race and make their way up front and battle for the win. You know, when I was racing in XCAL Racing, I would do that strategy legitimately all the time on super speedways. I would always hang out in the back of the field, just try and stay with the lead pack, and then I'd make sure as we get in the second half of the race or inside the final quarter of the race, I would start to make my way up through the field. And then inside 10 laps to go, I'm making sure I'm inside that top 5, top 10 battling for a win.
Well, yeah, and one thing we've always noticed with XCAL is that after the first round of pit stops, you have the field broken up into groups of 2, 3, and 4, maybe some individual drivers out there. The fastest groups that play this strategy, they start picking up drivers as they go along. Those drivers just drop to the back of the line, and then they get faster and faster and faster. So when they catch that lead pack and they have all that momentum as they come running up, it shoots them to the front. This kind of strategy really plays out really, really well, except that somewhere like Texas when you're trying to go to pit road. Isn't that right?
Damn you. Damn you, Burns. Damn you, Burns.
Could not resist.
You can never resist.
I know. I really can't. I've been sick for the last 3 days, and I still got that one in.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Alrighty.
Totally threw you off, too, didn't I?
Yes, it did, for sure. 53 laps are currently in the books. We've got currently at least 8 drivers that are up at least 10 spots at the moment as we continue to look our way here through the point standings. First time, I do want to say there are 2 drivers out of the race after that lap 2 incident. Sean Hughes and Colin Lawrence. Noah Carpenter, who is in 19th, even after being involved in the first caution, he got pushed by somebody, and just said I'm very happy with someone. I think he was either talking to Kieran Left-hander or John Brancaccio. Carpenter riding the 19th spot, I believe, if I recall correctly. Nope, it's not. But that's one of the best JNS racing cars up there, and he's coming off a win last week.
You know, something I have noticed, and I can understand Noah's frustration, is we've seen a couple of times where drivers are right on that bumper, and even doing little bump drafts going off into the turn, and if the car is not fully settled into the turn, you're holding on for dear life if you get that bump. And we've seen a couple of guys get loose out here with the bump, so it's just been luck and great skill that some of these drivers have saved the car. That could be what Noah was complaining about.
Absolutely, it could be there. You just never know. Some other drivers we should refer to as well. They're inside the top 15. We've yet to really talk about Austin Edwards a lot in this race. He's right in the 12th position. He did lead a lap early in this one. I think he led the first lap, if not the second lap. But he's just one of those drivers that's being really patient at the moment. He's okay right in 12th position for right now. And like we mentioned earlier, these drivers just want to get to the first round of pit stops.
They definitely do. Interesting note here. Sitting back at 14th is Ryan Seams. I forgot to check where he's at in the points, but last week was his 10th top 10 finish in XCAL. When you consider most of those have been this season because he struggled so much last season, that team and that car have really, really come alive.
They absolutely have for sure here. We've got some other drivers here in this field. Kendrick Cryer we've yet to talk about here in this broadcast in the 16th spot working with Matt Bear. A high I rating in this one coming on in. He's got a 7,000 I rating, so he's definitely up there approaching with the pros. Came out a couple weeks ago, had a second place finish at Rockingham, so he knows how to race on racetracks like these. Rockingham is like a little bit of a hybrid, I guess you could say, of super speedways and short track oval racing.
You know, there's one question we really haven't asked so far tonight, and it's regarding Robert Colgan. I mean, he's up here in the booth sometimes, and we know he keeps us aware of how many drinks he's in, how many beers he's had during the broadcast, but I'm wondering, while they have this quiet moment, how many beers into the run is he here for this one?
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. Right now I am currently half a can of Liquid Death in at the moment. So, and I did not bring a second can with me because I realized as well 200 laps, a 2-mile circuit with street stocks. Looking for a long night tonight. Yeah, so.
I'm sitting here with all the drinks, all the cough drops, hard candy, and everything else I could possibly need.
See, I get it on your end. I understand it on your end. For me, I'm just dumb me, if you know what I mean. So, but let's also, while we were watching some of this racing, let's talk about this racetrack. Of course, we know that Sunday was the final NASCAR races on this 2-mile facility. What are your favorite memories of Auto Club Speedway?
Jeff Gordon getting the first win here in '97.
That's definitely a good one. That's definitely a good one. That's up.
There has been, especially as this track has worn in over the years, there's been so much good racing here, and it's just such, I mean, Michigan's very, very similar, but Michigan just does not have the character, does not have the wear. I think, admittedly, I've only seen clips of the races on Sunday, but look at all the racing they had Sunday. Look how good it was. How can NASCAR be willing to do this and destroy this beautiful track? And granted, I love the idea of another short track. Don't get me wrong, but how many short tracks has NASCAR gotten rid of over the years that they can easily go back to?
Yeah, I feel bad too that this is being converted to a short track, because when we went next gen racing at Auto Club, something that if we didn't have COVID, that would not have been that we would have already been on the short track configuration. But because of COVID, that project got delayed, and then we had the next gen race last year. All I'm thinking is cancel the short track plans, but they were, unfortunately, you had to run along with that, and I definitely understand. Real quick, before we go back to memories, Alex Krapsar, 4830. That second line is starting to come in now, as that pack has definitely come in. They merged together. That JNS high side is coming.
Worth noting, did just get an update from the chat that Colgan is on his third beer.
Interesting.
I'm really surprised it's that low. They've had enough single file racing. I would expect he had at least had a 6-pack in.
That high side is coming as fast as Deion Sanders has moved to Colorado. Retzlaff up into the 14th position.
Yeah, they know pit stops are coming, and they are sending it. Retzlaff has been back there playing it safe. so far all season long, or all race long rather, but here he comes, and he has got help. That outside line forming up. They're also going to lay down more rubber, and I would expect to see more of that third line be used here in the near future. Lay down more rubber up there, prepping for the final 20, 30 laps when they go 3, 4, and 5 wide.
Look at that pushing, even in the turns from Zach to Parker. That's incredible. It's really all about, as well, when it comes to drafting, a game of trust. Really is. Retzlaff definitely trusts Zach Edwards after the way they've been racing. And look at this. A lot of drivers have decided to shift up to the top. Austin Edwards, Matt Baer, Steven Rux. They've all decided, you know what, that top's coming in. I want to work with the fastest line possible.
You know, speaking of trust, I've raced with a lot of the guys out here at one point or the another, but there's only one driver I've spent a lot of time on super speedways with, and I can tell you I trust him implicitly when we get to a super speedway. That is the second place car of Gerald Thanos Poole. I've had him up my bumper pushing me 10 miles an hour faster than everybody else. When this thing comes down to it, I guarantee you he has worked with that team, practiced with that team. If he comes in as confident as he was coming into the night, that team is going to be tough to beat. But, man, Gerald, if he's on your bumper, you're going toward the front.
Whoa, Jeff Edgar a little bit sideways when he saw Parker Retzlaff coming as well. He merged up. He is leading the top side, and Retzlaff is lifting those rear wheels off of the ground. It's getting a little bit frisky up on that outside line. 63 laps are in the books, and we are a couple laps away from pit stops here, Doug.
Yeah, and the top 3 cars on that high line look like coming down the front straightaway. Only the back one, I believe that's Alex Crapser was the only one with rear tires on the ground down the front straightaway. That got a little sketchy, but man, they are coming. Worth noting that we've talked about the fastest laps. Well, guess what? The Mad Bear just set the fastest lap of the race so far.
And look at this. J&S drivers have decided to shift to the bottom. Retzlaff, Edwards, and Crapser. Matt Baer and Jeff Edgar are left hanging up the track, and same with Austin Edwards and Steven Rux. And here we go for pit stops. Daniel Miller decides to drop low and bring the 43 in. Comes in all by himself. Remember, he was not racing with the leaders at the time. He was on the tail end of the lead lap.
He was. I am surprised to see him come in alone, but he was pulling that lead group around, so he was using a lot more fuel than these guys back behind. Now it's going to be Carson, Gerald, and Mason making the decision, but here comes Matt Baer on the high side with a lot of help. Gerald moves up started to block the run, but saw how fast Baer was coming, got back down, lets him get by. And hey, you know what? This is a smart move by those guys on the bottom. They can sit there and ride this out and prevent that top line from getting to pit road. Austin Edwards is up there as well, so, you know, a guy that's running for a title.
Matt Baer just got a huge shove like Kenny Wallace pushing Dale Earnhardt in 2000 at Talladega, and Baer takes the lead. He's got 5 bonus points. New leader. He's doing it for Dale out in front. You know, Matt Baer's driving skill kind of does remind me of the Intimidator too. You know what I mean?
Well, on a plate track, he's definitely one that takes every run and can get through the wind really, really well, but he definitely knows how to get where he needs to be. But man, comparing anybody to Dale is sketchy at best.
That's for sure, and we're going to hear some drivers coming this time by. Alex Crapser is one of them that's about to pit, and I believe the J&S drivers are going to pit as well. Pit road speed here, 55 miles an hour. Beautiful entries by them on the pit road. We will watch their stops here. Albert Hewins also came in, but I'm not sure if he's going to get the toe off the J&S drivers on exit. Long stop, Wawa Auto Club. Go ahead, Doug.
Retzlaff is in, Crapser, Zach Edwards, Kieran Lifflander, Daniel Miller, and Joe Campbell is in. Joe still not up to 100% on the speed, though. Sean Andrews is in as well. We'll see another group. I would expect to see another big group come in here. The question is, these guys up top, do they have enough fuel to stretch it out, or are they going to be in a situation where in a lap or two they've got to force their way to the bottom?
Aaron Gilliatt's are about to pit next. Star Hendren, John Brancaccio, are in pit road. And the Gillietts actually stay out here. So again, Barrett continues to lead. Carson Barrett, gotta give him credit, still hanging in there on the bottom, but Austin Edwards clears for second.
Yeah, a big push from Austin to Matt Bear to get him back up front. And whoa! Carson gets a little squirrely off turn 2.
Yeah, he was just typing in that he's going to be pitting in this time by. Kyle Bardo's also about to pit this time by as well. Same with Brett Meckes. See who else signals in. John Friley's pitting in this time in the number 26. Same with Derek Olson in the number 5. Do the leaders to stay out. We know Barrett's making his way into pit road, and it looks like at least 10, 15 cars come in and stay out. A waddle of them make their way in. Barrett brings them down pit road.
And Ed looking to see, because we have in the past seen issues coming to pit road, but everybody makes it in and makes it in clean this time.
Aaron Edmund Jones is about to pit, and same with Jim Johnson. See who else comes in amongst this 13-car train.
All the J&S cars and the Flaming Karma car, cars all in together right now.
Yeah, the J&S drivers are moments away from actually pit road. It's about 2 minutes and 17 seconds to pit stops, and there you see it there. The Moonlight drivers, Jones, Wetton, and Johnson
Jim.
come in. Yeah, a lot of locking up there for Jim Johnson. He may have gone over the limit of 55 miles an hour. I'm going to take a look here.
I think he was okay. He got that thing
Yep, he's
woed up.
good.
But
Yep,
man,
he's
was
good.
that car twitching.
Absolutely, it was really twitching ass for sure. We'll continue on here with green flag pit stops. We're going to take a break for right now. Matt Bear, Austin Edwards, Stephen Rex, Mason Foster, Adam Gilly at the top 5. Stay with us. A lot of drivers still in pit road as they continue to wrap their stops up. First driver that is currently leading all the drivers that have pitted, that is Alex Crafter at the moment with a huge push from Zach Edwards. I'm looking for Parker Retzlaff, and he's a couple of cars back in that 00. He had a pit stop that was just about 2 seconds off of Alex Crafter, so a slower stop for the driver of the 00. See who gets the lead here. Jose Godino is exiting in turn number 2. He does this strategy normally. He likes to take a pit stop that's about 14 seconds quicker than everyone else to hope for a caution flag to come out.
And it has paid off more than once for Jose, so we'll see how it plays out here. As it looks like he's going to be up to speed when the pack catches him, so this could get a little interesting. could be an extremely beneficial stop here for Godino.
Absolutely right, it could, as now we're seeing more drivers start to exit. Adam Gilliat about to come out. Jose Godino, though, starting to breathe down his neck.
Yep, Adam is coming out. Jeremy is coming out. What about Scott Gilliat, who's had a great run so far tonight? He's been up in the top 20 most of the night so far. So Scott Gilliat may be having his best run so far in XCAL competition tonight.
Adam Gilliat just barely clears Jose Godino. He has the race lead. Now we wait on Austin Edwards and Matt Bear, who went the longest. See if they can make their way out to the point. Should see Bear exit any moment from his pit stall. And he does, 2:17.22. Austin Edwards comes out. Slower stop. So Bear will come out in front of Austin Edwards. Adam Gilliat cross the start-finish line right now. Gets a good push from Jose Godino. And now we see a pack approaching. We'll get to it in just a moment, but let's see where Matt Bear ends up first.
Matt and Austin definitely got out in the perfect time. We'll see if they can keep those cars up to speed. It's going to get close for Matt Bear, but there's enough cars coming behind. They both should be able to merge into the draft without causing any major issues.
Absolutely. So Matt Bear will go to the lead. Austin Edwards falls back in the fourth spot. Now we talked about that big pack that's currently led by Mason Foster, Chase Johnson, Alex Krapser, amongst the notables.
Normally we see a much bigger spread after the first
Yeah.
green flag stop. This group, I don't think we saw any penalties on pit road this time.
Not that I know of. It's very impressive. All the stops about 2 minutes and all over 2 minutes and all under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's very impressive to see there, that's for sure. Some drivers are in a smaller pack, like Jeff Edgar, Gerald Cole amongst the notables. We got to change for the lead. Adam Gilliat and Jose Godino underneath. Matt Bear drops back to third spot. Adam Gilliat to the point here at Auto Club.
Yeah, and that team has been getting faster and faster every week. We usually see Adam and Jeremy together. Jeremy currently sitting back in sixth place, trying to work his way up to him. And as I mentioned, Scott Gilliat having a much better run. He's back in this secondary pack in about 23rd right now.
So Adam gets the 5 bonus points for leading the line. He'll switch up to the top, I should say, and he'll let Jose Godino have the lead. Godino now moves back up to the top shelf. Matt Bear will go to the point, and likely he'll be in the sucker hole. But Bear wants to drop all the way down to the bottom. I'm not sure what the situation is there. I'll stay down. I'll stay there for right now. I just heard his radio. Nobody like push me. It's something we can't say on the air.
Oh, okay, I got you. So Matt Bear was all alone with no help apparently until Adam Gilliat stepped up.
Bear said somebody push. Pretty much said somebody push me or else I'll bleeping wreck you.
That sounds like a very Matt Bear thing to say.
It is. 3 wide further back with Johnson in the middle. Retzlaff on the bottom and Godino up top. Now, I like this strategy of both Jose Godino and Adam Gilliat. They're now in the draft. They can try and save some fuel here after having that quick pit stop of just over 2 minutes. Again, Jose Godino had a pit stop that was about 14, 15 seconds quicker.
Jose was in the draft most of that first run, so you gotta wonder how much short he actually is here. Could he be in really good shape and just have saved more than everybody else? Jose is extremely good at super speedway strategy.
Hello to Phil watching in the chat. So glad you could join us tonight as well. And yeah, like you said earlier, Jeff's on his third beer. We can't confirm that. Bob Mann's also watching for the Flying Ryan Seams crew. It's a very calm and quiet chat on Twitch tonight.
It is
Maybe
very
Aaron
calm and quiet. Y'all speak up.
Maybe Aaron's secretly watching. Who knows?
You know he's muted. No spoilers.
I know, but you never know with him. He's got so much equipment set up for an XCAL race. So Bear leads, and now we're seeing everyone back in a choo-choo train. Just wanting to be patient here in this one as we are on lap number 77 of this 200-lap feature. Godino tried to drop down to the bottom, but Noah Carpenter was on his inside. Yeah, Godino didn't want to get wrecked.
Looks like Kendrick Cryer, who's that, Robert Colgan. Colgan leading this second pack as they try and get formed up and close back up on that lead pack. You've got Gerald Poole back there with John Friley, Stephen Wetton, John Brancaccio, and Scott Gilliott, Brent Meckes. So several guys that have been up at the front earlier in this race now hanging out towards the back for the moment. Phil, you could be right.
Yes, everyone's already too drunk to talk, that's for sure. Let's see here, we've got 20 drivers in this pack. We've got a second pack led by Robert Colgan that is about 7 cars big. We've got Brett Meckes, Art Hendren, Kieran Lifflander, and Daniel Miller all hanging out by themselves. Actually, Miller is part of one of the packs. But that's amongst all the drivers on the lead lap. 30 cars on the lead lap.
30 cars on the lead lap. 35 started the event. Only one officially out. Colin Lawrence out early after that first incident. Joe Campbell is still listed as being in the race, but he was caught up in that first incident and really just as nigh of speed. He is hoping that he can continue turning laps and then just get lucky here.
Change for the lead. Matt Bear decides to go up to the outside. He's led enough laps. He wants to hang out and drop to the back of this pack. Adam Gilliott back out in front of that number 25.
Interesting that Matt, I guess he's thinking, hey, I don't have to lead all the laps. Oh, Adam Gilliott's going to move up and give it to Mason Foster now. Adam has led a lap. Mason has led a lap tonight, too. The only driver in that, Alex Krapser has not led a lap yet. Jeremy Gilliott has not led a lap yet. And Zach Edwards, I do not believe, has led a lap yet. So we'll have to wait and see here in a few moments. But would not be surprised to see a bunch of these guys start swapping out, leading that single lap. Now that Mason's led, they start dropping to the back. And we just start seeing that, guys dropping, leading, dropping to the back, and everybody cycling through.
We also see Jeremy Gilliott up in here. First time we mentioned him. He's right in third with the push from Zach Edwards.
Jason Coleman asked, and yes, Jason, Tommy and I used to do that a bit. Sometimes we had challenges from the race, from the drivers to on if something happened X amount of times we had to take a drink, or there were drinking challenges back in the day. We don't get to do it often, but believe me, we have talked about it.
You guys need to have a reunion or something.
We actually are having a reunion in person in Florida in July for a wedding that we're both going to. So, you never know. We might have to take a laptop and do something while we're out there.
Nice, yeah, you guys should. Or, yeah, do like a reunion broadcast. Like, oh, look out. We got some stacking up in the back. Austin Edwards got a push from Stephen Rex and left Stephen Rex hanging below the apron. He tries to merge up. I don't think Noah Carpenter wants to give him the lane, but he just wants to barely.
And look at the 43 of Daniel Miller as he comes by on the high side, despite not being on the late lap. And it looks like Jim Johnson may have gotten a penalty under his pit stop. He had to go back in, and he is now being scored. It looks like 2 laps down at the moment.
Yeah. That is what it looks like. I'm going to go take a look back at his pit stop while we focus on the race.
Marca, we're going to be in Lakeland, Florida. Made me think. Colgan now to the lead.
Nice move for him as he'll go to the point. I'm taking a look here.
Kendrick.
I think they got him a penalty for the yellow line. No, they did not. I'm not sure. It had to have been something speeding related.
Bit of a surprise that it didn't catch him while he was on pit road, unless he was speeding on pit road exit.
I'm going to take a look right now for what's exit related.
But meanwhile, Colgan gets a lap led. Brett Edgar working his way up. Now Edgar goes to the bottom. He's going to look to lead a lap here. He's getting some help from Mason Foster, and we are starting to see drivers cycle. Whoa! Kendrick Cryer made a power move to the bottom line off turn 2. I don't know. That car looked like it was about to completely kick out on it. John Friley right behind too.
And I can confirm as well that Jim Johnson was called for speeding on pit exit just before crossing the yellow line. So he went fast way too early there. That was the situation. But Brett Edgar to the race lead for the first time today with a push from Robert Colgan. Fast lane 1-2 at the moment. Here comes Cryer in third. You mentioned we got loose early. We could be going 3 wide here shortly.
Yeah, starting to see these guys cycle through, get those 5 bonus points here tonight. This will be interesting to see how everything plays out, because we have had so many. And last year at Michigan, we had so many guys. We had like 2/3 of the field cycle through to lead a lap last season. So we could be starting to see that situation cycle through here again. Guys just trying to get some bonus points here, trying to put themselves in the money late in the season.
Now remember, Daniel Miller can race these drivers. That is completely legal in XCAL rules for being a lap down. He wants to try and get his lap back naturally so he doesn't have to restart tail line to forget a caution. He wants to restart with the leaders. Can't come down there as he's still side by side with Kendrick Cryer. But I don't think he's happy at Daniel Miller because there's kind of like a gentleman's code, you know what I mean? Even if you are a lap down, you shouldn't be racing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Kendrick Cryer pulls to the bottom to drop back. Daniel Miller will have the open door now if he wants to take, and he does. He drops to the bottom in front of Kyle Bartles, as Kyle Bartles goes back to the lead now.
Yeah, Bartles goes to the point. Let's take a look here out of the How to Suck at iRacing blimp. And while we're at it, Doug, what is coming up on How to Suck at iRacing?
Tomorrow night, the Nowski Nation is back as their season continues and gets wilder by the week, I must say. Thursday night, we will probably be doing a rebroadcast from Jones BS Racing from last night, since we missed that due to me being sick. And who knows what will happen this weekend. I do plan on getting some racing in, but we're also in the process of rearranging the room that I broadcast out of to maybe do a little expansion and get a few extras in here. So who knows what's coming in the near future.
Awesome to see there. You see Mason Foster just barely forcing his way in front of the 69, splitting up the fast lane drivers. How about John Brancaccio? He was in the back of this lead pack. He's moved his way back up to the front. He wants that race lead, and he's got no help at the moment. And he just took that car to the point. Now, as I said, he's got some help. That is, I believe, Whiten in the 15 and 6 it is.
Well, the 454 definitely using that side draft to charge toward the front. And it looks like he could not get down in front of the leader, so he's going to have to be stuck on the high side, on the outside of Daniel Miller. That could be a little help from Miller here to get Brancaccio 5 bonus points for this car.
It's cooking interesting, and Brancaccio has already led a lap, I believe, so he's already got the 5 bonus points in hand. Gonna be tough to get it, but this definitely helps out Whiten, who's made his way up into 4th.
Yeah, Whiten looking like he's going to go for that 5 points as well.
Absolutely, he's yet to lead in this race. Brancaccio keeps the car out in front. They're the lone 2 on the outside line. Everyone else downstairs. This pack has increased. It's a 27 car pack at the moment. Earlier we mentioned it was 20. A couple of stragglers in the back, like the Fastlane Motorsports drivers were. They, like we mentioned, they're now up in the front of this pack.
Yeah,
Wow.
and most of this pack
Drafting.
just single file at the moment. Scott Gilliam bringing up the tail end. Brent Meckes about 6.5 seconds back. Art Hendren, who was having such a great run earlier, has some sort of problem. He is now way off the pace. Same with Kieran Lifflander, who was back up there in that lead pack earlier.
Close to the line there, just about 200 between Brancaccio and Bartels.
Stephen Wetton looks like he's positioning himself to try and take the lead here at some point, but he's stuck up there on the high side, not a lot of gaps, and you don't want to go 3 wide for 5 bonus points.
Absolutely. Carson Barron and Chase Johnson are having fun right now on the radio, trading jokes between each other. They're running 15th and 16th.
Well, I guess if you're single file and everybody's just playing it safe, you might as well.
Absolutely. You got to find a way to have some fun, like what Matt Bear was doing.
Speaking of Matt, back in 14th, it took him a while to find somewhere to slot in line. He's right behind Parker Retzlaff. Parker, after that first stop, is not playing it safe anymore. He is now up to 13th, and looks like he's picking them off one at a time as he makes his way forward.
Absolutely. You know, while we are on lap 90 at the moment, let's take this opportunity to take a look at our leaderboard. This leaderboard is brought to you by our friends at How to Suck at iRacing. John Brancaccio, currently your leader at the moment in his return, his first start of 2023. Kyle Bartels currently scored in second, the highest of the Fast Lane Motorsports drivers. He's starting in 21st. Stephen Wetton will complete his first lap of the day. He's running in third. He now makes his way up to P2. He started in the 33rd spot. Mason Foster runs in 4th position. He is up 28 positions. Also, the driver of the Flame Company Shop Crew is actually the highest of the Gerald Poole-owned squad. Brett Edgar started on pole in his first start of the season. He currently rides in the 5th position. John Frawley's been very quiet in this race, but he scored in the 6th position, up 13 spots. Nice run for the driver of the number 26, who is a dash winner earlier this season. He got that in Charlotte. Robert Colgan led a lap in this race earlier. He has scored in P7, up 19 spots. Well, Kendrick Cryer also led in this race earlier today. He is an 8th. He started in the 16th position. Also good in iRacing overall. Alex Craps are up 19 spots. He is in the 9th spot. The JNS Racing drivers that missed the first instant are starting to keep their way closer and closer towards the front. Gilliatt brothers, Jeremy and Adam Gilliatt, 10th and 11th respectively in the 27 and the 25. Dak Edwards has made some moves from the back to the front despite its blinking issues. Up 18 spots, he has scored in the 12th position. And this is actually a little bit of a gap here. Parker Retzlaff, the Xfinity driver, runs in 13th position. He's up 14 spots. You got Dale Earnhardt behind him and Matt Fair. He is down 4 spots in the 14th position. You know, fun fact, I've actually called him, said doing it for Dale before the race. I never even realized at the time he was actually in a Dale Earnhardt race. So I'm just saying. Chase Johnson currently in the 15th position. Johnson started in the 5th spot. He's down to 15th. He led some laps early in this race after joining XCAL Racing League, the true league that iRacing has started to face at the last second. I guess we got to call it out for that. 16th spot, currently Carson Barrett in the 40 was right in the front before pit stops. Sean Patrick currently scored in 17th. He did lead a couple laps during the caution flag period, I believe, and then he has dropped to the back, and we have not heard from him since. Gerald Daniels Poole in 18th position. He is up 6 spots in his machine, having a good race so far. Derek Colson has normally been right in the back of these races. He's inside the top 20, scored in the 19th position. Good run for the Ironman of XCAL Racing. Rounding out the top 20 is Austin Edwards, who has just been very quiet in this race, just hanging out. Doug?
Edmund Jones, who's been up front and led earlier in that driver-owned car, currently runs in 21st. Noah Carpenter, another one who was up front looking awfully fast, in 22nd. Albie Hewins continues to have a great run here tonight, sitting in 23rd, just riding along at the moment, along with Flying Ryan Seams, who's currently in 24th. Flying Ryan having another great run. He has been up front tonight as well. Stephen Rex currently runs in 25th. Jose Godino, who's been toward the front, One of the Flaming Karma cars currently in 26. Scott Gilliott having a good run tonight in 27th. Brent Mekas currently runs in 28th. Has had some issues there tonight. Kieran Lifflander currently running in 29th, and Art Hendren right behind him in 30th. Daniel Miller a lap down, trying to unlap himself currently in 31st. Jim Johnson, speeding penalty, has him in 32nd. Joe Campbell got caught up in that early incident. Car's torn up, but he's sticking it out in 33rd. Sean Andrews on pit road for repairs. Colin Lawrence, the only driver out of the race so far.
Absolutely tough break for those. Remember, there was a caution that came out earlier in this race on lap 2 when Sean Andrews spun, collected about 5 other drivers in the melee. So very cautious. Ryan still down on the lead. Go ahead.
Some guy named Alex Hallinar. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy. He said, "Hey, is that Marty in the booth?"
Yes, that is Alex Hallinar. Him and I going 1-2 at Charlotte in 2021.
Why is Hallinar not out here racing? He's always good at these tracks.
He's been busy. He's been busy down in Long Island. I think he's had some college stuff or something like that. I met him a couple years ago at Oswego during a NASCAR Wheel and Modified tour race. Awesome guy to hang out with, that's for sure. Today's race is brought to you by the XCAL Racing Web Shop. Make sure you go to www.xcalracing.com/shop. Alex, what's your favorite item for the XCAL Racing Web Shop? Let us know in the chat. Some of our notable items include our 2023 Dash Series t-shirts, as well as some of our stuff with schedules on it. In addition, we've got some, you know what, we got some Hell in Our Racing's team merchandise still available. Why not? Bluetooth speakers, is that enamel bowls, and T-pins still available on the XCAL Racing web shop site. In addition, Sim Racer Hub is the official sponsor of our individual driver statistics. They calculate all of our points. If you own or manage an iRacing league and want to have them do the business without you calculating yourself, make sure you check out Sim Racer Hub with simracerhub.com for more info and to start managing your leagues. And also, if you'd like to be a super fan of XCAL Racing, make sure you check out the XCAL Racing Patreon. And gets a lot of cool perks there if you subscribe to the XCAL Racing Patreon. Must be 18 or older to join. Again, Victory Lane is also brought to you by the XCAL Racing web shop. You should go to xcalracing.com/shop, like we mentioned, for more info. And we'll mention this plug as well. If you would like to get notice, if you'd like to help your brand to get some more views, get some more engagement, some more notices, make sure you go to xcalracing.com and hit the Sponsor Us tab. Many sponsorship opportunities are now available, from small sponsorships of only $5 up to full season packages. They're all available below. We've got event sponsorships, broadcast sponsorships, other sponsorships, and just a whole lot more amongst the notables. We are 98 laps in the books. John Brancaccio leads, Kyle Bartle second, Stephen White in third, Mason Foster fourth, Brett Edgar rounds out the top 5. I think we've got a random visitor in the chat, PDJ Zeller. PD, I think, joined just before our mid-race update here. PD, if you want to talk, man, because we got nothing else to do, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. I'm just here for my mid-race interview, Marty. What's the questions you got for me?
Well, the first question, probably the most obvious one, PD, is what are you wearing?
What am I wearing?
Yeah, what are you wearing?
I got on a Bills t-shirt and my nicest pair of brown boxers.
Go Bills.
There is no helping you.
Well, anyway, PD, let's talk about your Moonlight Speed Concepts team, how they're doing right now. Stephen Wetton, currently I should say John Brancaccio, your highest driver winning. Stephen Wetton in third. Just what do you think about their performance, about your team's performance as a whole so far?
Yeah, they're doing a really good job right now. I'm proud of these guys, and the only thing I'll say is I'm not sure why Johnny wanted to lead over the 43 so bad. I thought he should have gotten the line there and just saved gas behind the 43, especially because that's not even a car he's racing for position right now. But I knew Johnny would do a good job in that 454 car. You know, all the other guys, they kind of they were like, really, you want to put Johnny B in the car? Like, you don't want us to find, like, one of our buddies? And I was like, no, I trust old Johnny B. I know that Johnny B can get it done at plate tracks. If you look at Johnny B, he has 2 career top 10s. Both of them have come in plate races. I think he has, like, 4 career top 15s. They've all come at plate races. Like, people can say what they want about old Johnny B, but he knows how to get around at these big tracks, and he's proven it right now as he's trying to get the most laps let it would look like.
Petey, real quick, we got to pause here. We have an update from race control. Zach Edwards has been black flagged for blinking. He's currently in the 14th position. He will have to come down pit road and get that internet fixed, unfortunately. Petey, we want to ask you as well about Kieran Lifflander right now at the moment. A nervous rookie coming from the Rocket League squads. Interesting. He went from playing some ball with a bunch of race cars and now has made his way into the actual world of racing, making some left-hand turns at the moment, currently in 29th. What made you want to bring Kieran Lifflander in?
He's a prospect I've worked with developing greatly. When I first met Kieran, he had an 1100 I rating, and I worked with him pretty hard. I taught him a lot about what I know about short track racing. I kind of taught him some strategies, helped him on setups, and within a month, I took him from 1100 I rating to a 4000 I rating. And some of that's the help for sure, but a lot of that's the driver. He just needed someone to come along and give him that helping hand to help him unlock his potential. It's funny, he was such a great student and a great learner through the process, but now we're kind of in a stage now where I say he's backtracking a little bit. And, I would tell him the same thing too. I'm not saying this negatively about him, but in his development, he's kind of backtracked a little bit. He's gotten so confident in his ability almost that I feel like he's starting to think that he doesn't need the coaching from me like he used to, and he doesn't need the tips and advice. He's a young kid. He's 15, 16, I think he's 16. He kind of is in the phase where he thinks he knows it all. So I'm just trying to reel him back in, bring him back down to earth. I'm having him run some XCAL races. In these races, he's not going to do too good his first few starts. He's going to go out there and, he made a mistake in the pits tonight, and now he's running 30th, I really think in his development as he tries to keep moving forward with his iRacing career and achieving new things, I think this is a good learning curve for him to kind of humble him because, as good as he's been doing and as many impressive things as he's done, he's actually going to win the SK Modified and the Tour Modified Division 3 championships this season. He did an excellent job over there for Moonlight. But I do think that he needed a good humbling, and I think having him run XCAL will help in part with that.
Yeah, and you and I have actually done races with him together. I'm actually racing with you guys whenever I have some free time. He's definitely very impressive on the oval track rankings of all things. Petey, before we let you go, man, we'll give you the final words here. Who you want to give shout-outs to for the team?
Yeah, the XCAL Racing web shop, of course, thanks to them for sponsoring these races as always. Just everyone watching in chat right now, I just want to say drop a like, not just because we need a like, but it helps us know if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. If you drop a like, and it helps us get more prizes in the hands of these drivers. So if you're watching, it's absolutely free. I don't think you can on Twitch, but on Facebook and YouTube, you can just drop a like real quick, and it costs you nothing to maybe get these drivers and your friends that you're watching more sponsors in the future. So be sure to do that. And, the last comment I want to make is, isn't it funny how Joe Campbell's out there running 56 laps down, virtually impossible to pick up another position just to manipulate the results in favor of his drivers. All right, see you guys later.
Real quick, one more thing. What's your favorite item for the XCAL Racing web shop?
Damn, you really put me on the spot with that one.
It's got to be something Whale Petey, though.
Yeah, it's got to be.
The I Stand with Leto t-shirt.
Okay, we haven't heard that in a while. Interesting.
Yeah, I see those likes coming in. Keep that up, fellas. But you guys too. You guys are doing a great job as always. I know how tough it is doing these long plate races, but have a good evening, my boys.
Yeah, absolutely, Petey. Appreciate your time, brother. So that is PDJ Zeller hanging out with us in the booth for a couple of minutes. We are going to step aside, and you'll still see the racing here on your screen here. John Brancaccio leads Chase Johnson, Kyle Bartles, Mason Foster, and Stephen Wetton. Stay with us. Halfway home here, the XCAL Racing Web Shop 400 at Auto Club Speedway. So glad you could join us here on the networks of Patastuck iRacing. Marty Sakala alongside Doug Burns with you. John Brancaccio still continues to lead. Stephen Wetton, Chase Johnson, Mason Foster, and Kyle Bartles. Petey mentioned this, Doug, earlier, and I have to agree with him. I'm not sure why Joe Campbell is racing with the leaders 56 laps down. I mean, I can get it if he's, trying to work with his teammates and push them up to the front, which, by the way, the highest teammate up here, if I recall correctly, is currently Alex Kraft in the 10th spot. But, again, you're 56 laps down. You have to let the leaders go by that are in this pack and racing for the lead at the moment.
I don't think he's really racing him so much as he was able to slide into the groove. But, as I mentioned, 40 some odd laps from now, he could very well, if anybody wrecks out in the next 40 laps, Joe could pick up some positions still. He's doing what he has to do to play the championship game here and making the right moves. He has not had the start to the season that we saw last season for Joe, but he doesn't give up. The guy just has no quit in him, so he's going to keep fighting back for as long as he can, and I think that's what we're seeing here is he's going to fight back. He's going to pick up every single possible position.
New leader at Auto Club, Chase Johnson, to the point as he made his way past John Brancaccio. First lap he led in a while. And yes, I agree with you. I want to see Joe Campbell stay on the track. Just do not be racing with the leader. Just stay on the racetrack. Try and pick up as much poison as you can. I completely agree with you. Daniel Miller, though, in a different situation. Of course, he's trying to get his lap back as he still has a big chance at winning this race. And Chase Johnson has other plans. He wants to put him a lap down. But Miller still eligible for that wave around if the caution were to come out right now.
Well, if the caution were to come out right now, he would not need the wave around. He'd get pushed around to the tail end, and he's definitely trying to keep himself right where he needs to be. Interesting note, Daniel Miller, Jim Johnson, Zach Edwards are the three cars that would get wave arounds. However, if Daniel Miller was in front of the leader when the caution came out, wave around laps would go to Jim Johnson, Zach Edwards, and Joe Campbell. So Joe's playing the game right. It may be a little bit frustrating for some drivers, but man, you got to give the guy credit. He definitely knows how to play this game as good as anybody in XCAL.
Huge push by Mason Foster, pushing his teammate in Daniel Miller. Foster goes to the point. Now, I don't think he's going to pass Miller one bit. I think he wants to stay on the lead lap.
There's absolutely no purpose for pushing or for passing Mason right now. That Mason just stays right there. He saves fuel, and he can keep Daniel out in front, so Daniel will get the wave around. He can save fuel. He can keep his car in good shape. There's not a lot of reason for him to do it.
Absolutely, that's for sure. Now, looking at it from here now to the end of the race, we're looking at one more stop for all the drivers. That stop should come around lap 137. Some drivers could go lap 140 maybe at the highest, and that'd be enough to put them to the distance there. Actually, you know what? Nope, hang on. Let me calculate it there. They put them at 70 laps to go around. We could be seeing a fuel mileage race to the end.
I think everybody's right there in the 135 to 140 range, so I think everybody will be able to make it on one stop.
It would be really close, though, that's for sure. It's going to be really about wanting to be in the draft to try and save some fuel and just nip some gallons off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and of course a caution could throw all that out the window.
It could.
If we got a caution right now, then they would stop now, but they'd still have to make one more stop. And that would throw everything. Then you get a lot of different pit strategies because, just a few laps into a run from, say, restarting at lap 120, they would only need to go about 20 laps, and then everybody would be back within the window. Then you'd have guys short pitting, guys stretching, probably somebody out there crazy enough to try and stretch it all the way to the end.
Hearing that Alex Krapser is blanking in the number 29. He's currently scored in the 10th position. Been a decent run for him so far. You know, he hung out in the back before saying it's time to make his way up through the field. Having a good race so far at the moment.
Yeah, it does look like Krapser is really starting to blink here. That could definitely be a big problem, especially at a track like this, because if you cannot see the car, you're not getting the arrow off of them, you're not getting the draft, you're not getting... And Alex Krapser is moving up the track.
Absolutely, and he was actually given a final warning. He was to move out of the way. He could get black flagged a lot like his teammate in Zach Edwards in the number 30, who has fallen all the way down to 32nd.
That is definitely rough. A lot of crazy weather throughout the country tonight. Has been for the last several weeks, really. And obviously,
it's been wild up here.
Yeah, it's been playing heck with everything.
Absolutely. I think we had sleet here earlier today. I think it was last week as well. We had a big ice storm breakout where, like, even when you were stepping on top of snow, it was slippery. Whenever you would step on grass, it felt like you were walking on like a hardwood or something like that.
Weather this year has just been crazier than man. Back when yeah, never mind. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, it's like one day it'll be warm weather, the other day it'll be a blizzard.
It was 70 today, and I think it's supposed to be down to freezing on Friday or Thursday.
Could you believe as well that it was snowing in Fontana this past weekend?
Since that track opened, that's probably the first time it's ever seen snow.
Probably.
It's a little weird, although it did make for a very cool fact that it cleared the track. So they got a green track to go out on, everybody on equal footing, and it, you know, from the clips I saw, made for some awesome racing.
Absolutely. It's what now. I just wish that Kevin Harvick had the Busch Beer scheme, going through turns 3 and 4, going past the mountains, so we could enter the mountains of Busch.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Like here.
And Phil makes a good point. Mother Nature may be bipolar.
Interesting. So, 116 laps are complete. Still Mason Foster out in front. Foster right now the biggest mover, up 31 spots. So he would be the biggest mover, would get bonus points for being the hard charger. Fastest lap of the race, I believe, I want to say it belongs to Alex Krapser. Last time we had something in purple. At a 48.30. Actually, nope, check that. Parker Retzlaff has the quickest lap in this race at a 48.29.
Also worth noting, though, right behind him, there's 2 drivers that are up 30 spots. Stephen Wetton in 3rd, John Brancaccio in 4th. Either one of those changed position. And then it's a couple of drivers that are looking at bonus points here tonight.
A lot of drivers get bonus points at least, just for leading a lap. So many different leaders in that race, and that's expected because it's a super speedway.
Yeah, and at any point, I mean, we're talking probably not in the next 10 to 15 laps, although I'm really surprised the way this race has played out, because we saw after pit stops, we saw minimal issues on that first run of green flag pit stops. We've only seen 1 caution. And we've seen these guys play it safe here tonight. They're trying to keep their car in one piece. This is also the highest paying race of the season so far, with a $730 purse. Yeah, these guys are trying to make it to the end. Every one of them still on the lead lap. They still think they can get up here, get the win, and get the lion's share of that money.
Look up front as well. Take a look at the pushing Mason Foster and Daniel Miller are doing. They have opened up a gap on Chase Johnson from 1st to 2nd. Now, Foster's been known for doing that in the past at super speedways, opening up a nice gap. Even when doing it without pushing anyone or having somebody behind him, he's been known for doing that. Could Johnson and company get a huge tow and maybe go for the lead here?
Wow, that's you never know. If Chase gets back in the draft, because right now He's 0.8 of a second behind. I don't think he's getting much of a draft off of Mason Foster, but if he gets enough of a push here from Stephen Wetton, they could fly right by. Although it looks like Foster and Miller are about to pick up another car.
Absolutely. They'll get a draft off of, I'm trying to see who that car
Jim
is.
Johnson.
Yeah, that's Johnson, that 39. Remember, he was beating on pit road exit after in the first green flag pit stops.
There's a driver that had such a good run going here tonight, and just one mistake may have ended his shot at a win here tonight. I'm hoping he gets back on the lead lap. I know Jim knows how to get it done at these tracks, but man, it's just... Oh! Holy crap! Mason Foster just bumped Daniel Miller wrong, and wow, what a save by Miller.
That got insane there, way too close. Luckily, they're still behind, but Chase Johnson gets a lane underneath. Miller will let him go. I don't think, personally, that's not what Daniel Miller wanted. They're probably in the chat saying, so sorry about that, but now Miller is still in a lane. Way too close, and now Chase wants Miller to go to the rear. But that's not happening.
Well, I gotta say, Miller did an amazing job at 175 miles an hour to get that car straightened out. And it's gonna be something like that that'll bring out a caution. Just somebody gets a little too greedy in a turn, a little too much of a bump, and yeah.
Yeah, very impressive save there, that's for sure. Now you see Foster trying to catch the draft off of Johnson in the 39. Just to pick up some speed.
I think he was trying to break the draft a little bit on Chase Johnson, too. Just enough that Johnson does not have enough momentum to slingshot by here.
That could be the case, too. You never know. Just put Johnson 3 laps down here at the moment, because a black flag penalty would be just about 44 seconds in your pit box.
Mason continuing to lead, gets right in line with Jim Johnson. Does not look like he's going to push too hard, and it looks like, is that Joe Campbell on the high side starting to make his side draft his way to the front? Joe definitely showing that he can still get it done on the super speedway. We knew he could get it done after Charlotte last year, but every super speedway race, Joe Campbell is always in the fight.
Well, let's keep in mind his last stop too. I think he pretty much did the total package when it came to repairs. A 32-minute pit stop he took.
Yep, he definitely got all the repairs.
Yeah, Danny's in the chat rooting for the aces at the moment. Highest ace is going through the field here. Retzlaff in 12th.
And Retzlaff, we've seen on these long runs, he sits there and rides. But when the time comes, we saw it toward the end of that, toward pit stops on that first run, Retzlaff just charged through the field. He went from, 6 seconds back, closed the gap down over just a couple laps, and then just got to the outside and went storming forward. Now with Joe up there on the high side, you know Retzlaff's got some team help up there. If he gets there, they might be able to hop up and work together.
We'll see if Joe Campbell could perhaps give him the push for the lead. I don't think that's going to happen right now at the moment, especially when we are just about maybe 10-15 laps away from green flag pit stops.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, like I said, Retzlaff charged forward at the end there, but there's 2 other drivers that we have seen work really, really well together all season long. Jeremy and Adam Gilliott, 10th and 11th, the brothers, nose to tail. And how many times this season have we seen these 2 drivers work together and just charge through fields together, nose to tail?
Yeah, the teammates and brothers have worked well for pretty much a majority of this race, although we did see Jeremy up front at one point, or rather that be Adam up front at one point, not with Jeremy at one time. Jeremy has been near the front as well in this race. They're just hanging back at the 10th and 11th spot.
And don't forget, Dad Scott Gilliott currently sits back at 22nd or 26th. He is still in the lead draft, still on the lead lap, and could easily, if he can figure out how to work that high line, man, he could come charging up and help the boys as well.
Hearing pit stops are actually about to begin. Gerald Poole says that he's coming in, so he'll escape this 26-car path.
Oh boy, I'm really surprised to see Gerald come in this time. Here we go. We've got one car in. Not Gerald. Looks like it's Daniel Miller.
Yep, Miller decided to come in for the 4 tires, so they will work together. Also have other drivers on the lead lap, too, that are not in the draft. Brent Meckes is one. Kieran Lifflander is one. Art Hendren also another. So those are the 29 drivers that are on the lead lap at the moment, but leaders may be approaching them soon.
Lifflander and Hendren are there together. They've got Zach Edwards with them. Zach not on the lead lap. Zach's blinking again as Lifflander heads to pit road alone.
And that's not what he's going to want one bit. See who comes in next, if anybody does. I'm seeing the high side start to form here. Matt Bear wants to get up there, just like he did in the final laps before the first green flag pit stop.
Matt up on the high side. He definitely knows how to side draft his way forward here. And Joe Campbell up there will give him a little bit of help. He's going to get some help from behind now as well.
Look at Campbell in the 33rd position, the likely position that he will finish in if we don't get a wreck break out. Bears got some company from behind in Kendrick Cryer. Bear out of the dropping bombs racing camp, Cryer out of the moonlight camp. And they will come to fruition with Joe Campbell. See if anyone else comes in. Nope, they're going to wait. We got 70 laps to go at the start-finish line. Couple laps away from drivers that could make it to the distance for the final pit stops. And we just saw a new fastest lap. 48.07 done by Austin Edwards. What a lap.
Yeah, and he's got help from behind too. Edmund Jones getting right, and these two we saw them work together last season extraordinarily well. Edmund, a huge push that last lap is making it forward. And I guarantee you Jim Johnson's up there. They'll get hooked up with Jim as well.
How about this? Bear and Cryer, 1 and 2. They put Joe Campbell in a sandwich, and now you got 5 cars upstairs in the house. Bear and Johnson side by side for the lead. It could be Bear and Foster, maybe, perhaps. Does Cryer go to the outside? At the line, Matt Bear to the lead, but he's stuck in the middle now. It's 3 wide in front. Cryer wants the lead.
And it looks like Cryer is going to get it with a push from Austin Edwards.
Teammates.
Jim Johnson down there, that outside line will definitely take a little bit of help from Jim Johnson, but they leave Edmund Jones out to dry on the high side. Now they're going to hop back up.
Brancaccio says he's going to pit in this time by. Cryer moves up. Wants to give Austin Edwards, his teammate, the race lead away here. They nearly touch in turn 3. John Friley says he's going to pit this time by. Cryer shifts behind Edwards, and they touch off at turn 4. There was a little bit of a small bump draft. That got tight as a lot of drivers come in.
Yeah, the back half of the field starting to head in. Jose Godino, John Brancaccio, John Friley, Art Hendren all on pit road. And a few more laps, we'll see everybody.
Now, will they be able to go the distance? If you can make it in 2 laps, if you pit in outside the next 2 laps, you will be good to go the distance.
I think these guys that have been hanging out mid-pack, just staying in the draft, I think most of them can go the distance from here. They wouldn't be stopping right now unless they absolutely knew that they could go the distance from here.
Absolutely. Let's see who pits in next. I think Albie Hewen signaled that he's coming in this time. And here we go. Johnson comes into pit. So that leaves Mason Foster, the lead driver, on the bottom groove of this racetrack.
And Austin Edwards has scored with the lead that time. Mason on the bottom. Kendrick Cryer, that outside line, a little bit better formed right now.
And he could go low if he wanted to. However, though, decided to stay up top, give Foster a chance to get that race lead back.
And whoa, look at the 28 just wiggling. Chase Johnson, we talked about how bumpy this is, and especially on those old tires. Going off turn 2, Johnson was just bouncing all over the place. The back end looked like it was trying to step out on him.
Absolutely. Close call for Chase Johnson in that number 28 ride. He's got a XCAL win in his back pocket from 2021. And Austin Edwards to the lead. Chase Johnson says he's coming in next lap, and they're going to approach some lap traffic here possibly. This could get interesting. Stephen Wetton says he's coming in next lap. Cryer, nope, he didn't signal he was coming in. Told Austin, you're clear, come down. They may come in this time by. Who knows what happens?
Lap traffic moves down the track, and next time by they'll be dealing with cars coming off pit road too. So this is where it gets dicey, and this is where saving fuel and trying to stretch as far as you can because of the incidents that can and will happen under green flag stops.
So we know just over half the field will be able to go the distance here, and we'll see Wetton, Johnson, Edgar among the notables making their way down pit road. A lot of tire smoke. One of them comes off the 21 of Scott Gilliard. Now, did he lock the brakes up? Be interested to see if we get some penalties here this time by. See Brancaccio pits comes out. Austin Evans and Matt Bear, just like last time, they're 1-2.
No surprise out of these two drivers. We also have Gerald Poole, most of the Flaming Karma cars on pit road now.
Edmund Jones signals he's coming in this time.
Wait a minute, didn't Edmund already come in once? No, he did not, sorry. That was Jim Johnson that I saw on pit road. Similar paint schemes.
So Edmund comes in, oh, he's Mr. Lonely.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
May have cost himself a chance to win. 10 drivers have yet to pit. See who's the first guy out next lap. Hearing Stephen Rex, Kendrick Pryor will come in this time. Sean Patrick will pit this time. Maybe Austin Edwards will come in this time. Jeremy Gilliard, Adam Gilliard will pit.
Austin Edwards and Matt Bear went further than everybody last time. Looks like they may try and do that again.
See who makes the stop. Kendrick's in. A lot of drivers come in from that pack.
Now does holy crap! Who's that on the bottom?
I think that is Noah Carpenter.
Oh!
A lot of ghosting there with his teammate, or excuse me, his former teammate, Mason Foster. So now we wait on Austin Edwards and Matt Bear. Highest driver.
It was a dang good thing Noah Carpenter had gotten the left sides into the pit lane, into the pit boxes, because had he been any further right, they would have crashed.
Absolutely. First guy out that's already pitted is Gerald Poole in the 33. The guy ahead is Austin Edwards in the 30. Now, he is expected to come in with just about 30, 40 laps to go, because remember, he got called for blinking. And so here we go. Austin Edwards and Matt Bear make their way into pit road for their 2.25 minute stop. Final stop for these drivers here.
Zach Edwards last pitted on lap 101. This could be an instance where if a caution comes out and he can stretch this fuel, man, he could get very, very lucky.
Great point there, that's for sure, Doug.
But he is blinking again.
Not what he wants. And so now we'll go to the driver that's highest at the moment that has already pitted. Chase Johnson, just about good enough to go the distance. He leads Brett Edgar, Kyle Bartos, Stephen Wetton right behind him out. 2 fast lane and a Moonlight car. So we'll wait. Edmund Jones will be the next guy to come out of pit road. He's at 210.
Alex Krapser and Parker Retzlaff right behind. They've got Daniel Miller, the lap car, to work with here. Retzlaff really gives a push there to Daniel Miller, but everybody keeps going the right way. Daniel Miller's done an amazing job keeping that car going.
Absolutely.
He's had a few close calls tonight.
Just take a look at some of these pit stops here. Brent Meckes did a minute 54 on his pit stop. I don't know if that's going to be enough to go the distance. We'll see here. But Edmund will give him credit. He's currently right now the 5th amongst drivers that have already pitted. Next guy we expect to come out here is Mason Foster in the 96. Then Kendrick Cryer, but remember Foster's got a long way to go. Cryer should be the next guy out. And there he goes. Same with one of the Gilliatts. That is Adam Gilliatt. And a bunch of them, an Oklahoma Land Rush exiting pit road here. Foster will bring them out. And so we'll wait for about 45 more seconds for Austin and Matt to see who will be the race leader. Zach Edwards is up into the 3rd position now. He's pretty much going to need a caution flag like at this point right now.
Anything is possible here as Mason Foster and Kendrick Cryer hit the back straightaway. Adam Gilliatt and Noah Carpenter coming, but here comes that freight train led by Chase Johnson.
Look at that match down the back straight. And Zach Edwards, by the way, has gone to the race lead. We're going to, as we mentioned, if he gets a caution flag right now, he is back in this race. Matt Beer about to exit pit road. Same with Austin Edwards. We'll see if anyone gets popped for speeding, perhaps.
Well, Mason at the start-finish line.
I don't see anything at the moment. Yep, you said it there. Foster's at the line. Push from Kendrick Cryer. Edwards and Beer up to speed, 110 miles an hour. Foster's going to pass them.
He is. They're going to get hooked into this. They may get hooked into this draft.
This could get tight here. They need to merge right now. They're 2 by 2 down the back.
Mason is not giving him room to come up. Now he moves up to the 2nd lane. Austin gets up, and they are in the draft. So the top 4 nose to tail. Adam Gilliatt leads the 2nd pack back in 6th place, just about 1.8 seconds back.
So Zach Edwards is the race leader, 24.25 seconds ahead of Mason Foster. If he gets a caution in the next 30 laps, inside the next 30 laps or so, I would assume Zach Edwards is back in this race.
Yeah, I think he's far from out of this one.
Yeah, if he has to come in and we're still green, chances are his race will be over. But now we see everyone single file once again. Front 4, Foster, Cryer, Edwards, and Bear. And then it's Adam Gilliatt, Noah Carpenter, and a flurry of drivers behind them. We are going to step aside here. We've got 71 laps to go. Zach Edwards leads with Foster, Cryer, Austin Edwards, and Bear the top 5. Stay with us here at Auto Club. We are under 70 laps to go here in the XCAL Racing Web Shop 400 Auto Club. Be sure to check out the xcalracing.com/shop for all your things XCAL Racing. The notable products here. I wish we had some of the most purchased items in XCAL Racing, but the more expensive stuff, if you want to make XCAL Racing rich, we've got car mats, a set of 4. We've got a leather jacket for the Master Rail P200. Army, and a duffel bag. So check it out online at xcalracing.com. Something I noticed here, Doug, before we came back on, that huge train that's being led by Noah Carpenter and Company is actually losing some time. They lost 0.4 of a second last lap to Mason Foster's train, 2.4 seconds behind 255.
Adam Gillian just dropped to the middle of that pack. Now you got Noah Carpenter out front leading, and I'm wondering if this was just a question of, hey, I'm faster up front. We need to switch something up to gain some ground, because you know these drivers are noticing they are losing ground to a 4-car pack right now. But you look at Kendrick Cryer, you look at Austin Edwards, and you look at Matt Baer. You could not fit a piece of paper. We have seen Kendrick get a little bit loose off the turns because Austin's so far up his back bumper. So, these guys are doing exactly what it takes to get to the front and to get some. Now they're about to have Jim Johnson, I believe. He'll get hooked up here as well. And the bigger that group gets, especially with cars not on the lead lap, the better off they're going to be.
So I guess amongst this line, who do you want to see leading that could close this pack in? I personally would like to see a guy like Parker Retzlaff lead this line. You see he's moved up to the outside line.
Well, yeah, we saw Parker just charge forward earlier on. We saw him lead a 4-car pack and reel in the leaders. I think Parker is the right guy to have lead this group right now. He's up on that high side. He's got a 3-car pack, and they are nose to tail inches apart. They're getting squirrely. They're so close. So I think that outside line may go to the front and may start pulling all the way around. Edmund Jones is up there, and obviously he can take a big push. So I think that outside group might be the group to get up here and pull them back up to the lead group.
They just ran even laps last time by, and second and third, Austin Edwards and Matt Baer, they were 0.3 better than Kendrick Cryer and Mason Foster last lap. And that was because they have a car in front of them. That is in Johnson, who could perhaps maybe slow them up as he leads this train. We will see what happens. Go ahead.
I guarantee you, Jim Johnson and Austin Edwards just communicated that this is the way to go. Jim not on the lead lap, and him and Austin have raced together and worked together in the past. I guarantee you, Austin said, hey, I'm going to pull up here. I'm going to get on Jim's bumper. We know each other. We trust each other. We're going to continue to pull this pack away. We're going to reel in Zach Edwards, and then we're going to go off and open up this big gap. There's no more stops unless a caution comes out. Yeah, these guys are going to be tough to beat at this point.
Edmund Jones now leads that second pack, and it is working. Last time by, they were 0.4 of a second faster than Austin Edwards and Company, but they are 3 seconds behind 5th place Mason Foster. Let's see this gap here at the start-finish line. I'm interested as they are double file. Last time by, a 1/4 of a second off.
Well, I think,
Hang on, Stephen Rex. Sideways entering turn 1.
Parker backs off just a little bit, but he'll pull back up here in a second. And I guarantee you these 3 guys that have been nose to tail that pushed their way up to the front of this same pack, I have a feeling that these 3 guys will be able to reel in the leaders.
They're losing more time. It's 3 1/4.
I think it's a matter of getting the right 3 of the cars in the right grouping. I think if they can get Edmund Jones and Parker Retzlaff's Edmund Jones, then you get Retzlaff, then Noah Carpenter, then you put Stephen Rex there at the back. I think that is the right situation.
I think when you look at the cars, when you look at that second pack, those cars look a little bit loosey-goosey, you know what I mean? And then when you look at this lead pack, they all look really good. They're holding their lines, they're not loose. They're doing really good, consistent lines, hitting their marks. That's why they are gaining so much time on the drivers behind.
Well, they're definitely working together extremely well. It looks like they do back off just a little bit through the corners, and as soon as I say that, Austin's sitting there bumping Jim rather through the turns. But they are backing off at the right spots and then reforming as soon as possible and shooting their way to the front. And I know there's a guy watching right now that isn't out here, that if he was in that group, he would be one that would be tough to beat as well, McRecken. If McRecken was in that group, they'd all be in trouble.
Yeah, you're referring to Kyle Martin, I believe, right?
Of course. I think Kyle would be the guy to be out front in this situation.
Absolutely. So, as we come by, we're on lap number 150, 51 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway. Let's take this opportunity to look at our full field rundown, brought to you by How to Suck at iRacing. We've got 51 laps to go, Doug.
At the moment, Zach Edwards is the leader by about 11 seconds. They are gaining on it from behind. He still has not made his final stop, hoping for a caution. Austin Edwards leads the second pack with in second place with Matt Baird now in third, Kendrick Cryer in fourth. They've got some lap cars mixed in, giving them a hand. Mason Foster back in that group in fifth. Edmund Jones leading the big pack, currently in sixth place, being pushed by Parker Retzlaff. Parker looking for a better finish here than he had on Sunday. Noah Carpenter currently runs in eighth, right behind. Stephen Rex in ninth, as it looks like Noah Carpenter may go to the lead of this group. Chase Johnson currently running in 10th. Flying Ryan Seams in 11th place, just outside the top 10, and looking pretty good here tonight. Expect to see him make a move toward the front before long. Brett Edgar currently running in 11th with Kyle Bartles in 12th. Stephen Wetton, one of the guys that's been out front a lot, out toward the front a lot tonight, but has not led a lap yet. The Gilliatts, Adam Gilliatt currently running in 15th, Jeremy Gilliatt in 16th, and that pack is finished out by John Friley in 17th. Albie Hewins leads the next group in 18th with Derek Colson in 19th, and Carson Barnett, a guy who looked like he might have something for the win here tonight, currently running in 20th.
Gerald Thanos Poole currently scored in 21st, working with the guys like Eric Colson and Hewins. Alex Krapsa currently in 22nd after looks like a bad time pit stop. Brett Meckes runs in 23rd in a four-car train. Behind him, Scott Gilly at 24th. Sean Patrick 25th. Jose Gaudino in 26th. John Brancaccio, after an early pit stop, works with Robert Hogan. They are 27th and 28th respectively. R. Hendren by himself in 29th. He's the last car on the lead lap. First one a lap down is Kieran Lifflander in 30th. He is actually, I believe, 2 laps down. To be specific, actually, you know what? He is 1 lap down at the moment. Daniel Miller rides in the 31st position, still with that Peloton pack. Jim Johnson scored in the 32nd position as he looks to avoid going 2 laps down. He is working with lead at the moment. A couple drivers out of the race. Last car on track is Joe Campbell. He is in 33rd position, but 2 drivers out of the race, Sean Andrews and Colin Lawrence. 1 caution in this race on lap 2 for an incident when Sean Andrews got turned after there was contact with Derek Colson in a 3-wide situation, collected Lawrence, Campbell, and others in that incident.
Worth noting that Zach Edwards' lead is shrinking rapidly. He's out there by himself. Yep. Austin is closing quickly. That gap now down to 7.8 seconds at the line. We'll take a look at it next time by, but yeah, unless a caution breaks out here and Zach can get to pit road, his chances of winning this are getting smaller and smaller by the second.
Absolutely, you got that right there. It's about losing a second a lap for those wondering at home.
Now they've really got this group hooked up with Austin and Matt Bear at the front, Kendrick there, Mason there. Edmund is falling off back to that second group. Edmund trying to pull that group up, but currently 6 seconds behind. They're continuing to lose more ground. And Parker Retzlaff was up there trying to push, and he dropped all the way back to 17th.
Yeah, I'm surprised on that situation there. He's in the back. He's now the caboose of that lead back, just trying to push everyone here. But at the moment, it's just not working out here because Edmund Jones, that last lap, was a half-second slower to Mason Foster. They will need a yellow flag if they want to get back in this. Someone may have to pull a trick out of their sleeve. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You would like to see this race go green scot-free to the finish line, but it's just going to be very tough here. But at the front of the pack, Austin Edwards back to Mason Foster. They are starting to close in on Zach Edwards' lead. He's going to need a caution in a couple of moments here. Well, I shouldn't say a caution in a couple of moments with all the drivers on the lead lap, 29 drivers on the lead lap. Could stay in that lead pack. Caution, and put him back in this race.
Yeah, but he's going to need a Clint Boyer out there.
He's going to need it in the next 15 laps. He's going to hope somebody's arm is itchy.
And it should start. I mean, we're going to start seeing some battling ramping up. If Edmund Jones doesn't get this group to start pulling together and working, and look at this. Edmund and Steven Rex are working so well together at the moment that they're pulling away from that pack.
Just a bit, though. Not too much.
Not too much, but they work together so well. They are able to pull a gap here and there. And look who's sneaking his way into the top 10, now up to 9th place, and just keeps picking them off one at a time here, apparently. Ryan Seams. All those Flying Ryan fans better start cheering. Here he comes.
In 9th, he started in the 12th position, very quiet in this race. Hello to Kenny Tripp as well, watching in the chat room for Johnny B. Hoping that he gets the yellow and makes it back up through the field. And Envoys is just joined chat, I believe, for the first time this evening, rooting for Flying Ryan. And again, still quiet on Twitch tonight, not sure what's going on there.
Does look like Zach Edwards has got some help now from the 37 of Art Hendren. Not going to be a huge help, but it will slow down the approach just a hair. Absolutely.
The gap is at 3 seconds, and it won't help him one bit. But is he going on the apron? He is. Just trying to pull that draft. That's actually pretty funny. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Not since, actually, I've seen it in real life, I should say, Kyle Busch back in qualifying.
Well, shorten the distance, still getting some draft over the right front of the car. It's definitely going to help him. These two are both now dropping to the apron, and we see this all the time at tracks like this. Drop to the apron, at least out of turn 4, carry some momentum, and maybe get a little extra speed out of it.
And you see that gap start to dwindle down. It's down to 2 seconds. Austin is about to start attacking on Zach.
Austin smells blood in the water.
Yep. He's starting to breathe down the neck of the 30.
And he's got help, too. He's the only one in this lead pack that has help. Because Jim Johnson is right there with him, and I know Jim will help him.
And that 66 of Kendrick Pryor.
Oh, yep, you're right. He'll have help from Kendrick. So, yeah, Austin...
Zach's coming in.
Yep, here we go. The final pit stop for Zach Edwards, and he did not get the caution. Looks like he might be out of contention.
That's a tough break for Zach. He's been running really well in this race, in my opinion. That's a tough break.
Really did a great job trying to mitigate the issues earlier. And the gap now from Mason Foster back to Edmund Jones is 8.5 seconds. If a caution, I mean, they could still run him down. They could still run that lead pack down, but in the next 40 laps, they've got to figure out, and they need to do it in about the next 2 or 3 laps, they have got to figure out how to get who's the right running order, and then get everybody single file tightened up, get these lap cars working with them, and get going.
It's not going to work really when you got a lap car and Kieran Lifflander leading this pack. But if it works, I'll eat crow at the end of the night.
Kieran's getting a huge push right now from Daniel Miller down the front stretch.
At this point, you may have to bump draft as much as possible. Like, you may have to do it early here. But it is working just a bit. I am seeing that gap start to close down just a bit. Not too much. We'll just have to see.
Well, it's 9 1/4 now. They are losing a big gap every single lap.
It could reach a quarter of a track momentarily.
This second pack, if they don't figure it out, probably in the next 3 to 4 laps, they could do it from about 30 to go. Any less than that, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Austin Edwards got this front group working too well, and these top 5 right now, they know that big purse is on the line. You and I talked about it during the last commercial break, that this purse yesterday was $500. Today, $730. So these guys, they knew coming into this race it was a big night. They had to put themselves in position, but they had to keep the cars clean. That's exactly what this field has done. This is the first time we've ever seen this little amount of racing here or at Michigan. These guys have gotten single file, big purse on the line. They're doing exactly what they have to do to get a piece of it. In this top 5, they have figured out, hey, you know what? We are pulled away. We're safe. Let's keep going.
You know, I'm listening to all the driver scanners right now at the moment on the iRacing chatter. You know, that pretty much every driver that's in this pack, they're just getting really frustrated at the moment that they're just losing so much time and just trying different drivers coming out in front. And once again, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter if you're side by side racing in a pack. It's the front of the field that can hold your line so much better in the corners compared to everyone else on back. That is what's helping out the front of the field. That's why they're increasing that gap.
It does not help the fact that they keep getting side by side. Oh, holy cow! It does not help that they keep having incidents like that either. Close calls. This is a little bit crazy, especially when the 2 front cars are lap cars. They need to drop to the back of that field, be support cars, help push, and figure out what the right combination of cars. And look at this. Up on the high side, Parker Retzlaff has had enough. He's gotten hooked up with another driver.
That's Miller.
No, Retzlaff's a little bit further back, behind the 5 of Derek Colson. Up on the high side, I think Retzlaff has had enough. He's going to try and charge forward and maybe get a breakaway. He's trying to find somebody to work with. And it looks like him and Colson are working pretty well. And now we're starting to see guys pull up. This is exactly the wrong thing that needs to happen here. They need to find the 2 fastest, get them to the front, and then everybody gets single file. And let's bump draft our way up to the leaders.
Did you see Miller just get a bit loosey-goosey for a couple moments?
Yeah, Daniel Miller, you know, he was caught up in that earlier incident. He managed to keep himself in play, and it didn't look like he took any damage. That car has just not been handling right. That car has been way looser than everybody else all night.
And I got to give him credit as well for trying to keep that car on the lead lap as much as he can throughout the majority of this race tonight. He's been the wave around car, and oh boy, look at this. This is getting crazy. Double file amongst the first 7 rows of this pack, if not the first 6 rows.
This is and look at the car in the front. The 46 there is just you see how bouncy this track is, and everybody is running the same setup. But you see some of these drivers just have a little bit better handle on the car. And I would be willing to bet that all comes down to who's running what steering ratio here tonight.
At this point, someone may just have to sacrifice their own chassis just to have all these drivers back in this race.
It very well could be, or like I said earlier, it could be a Clint Boyer move here, or, you know, it could be a, well, this driver pissed me off last week and I need a caution, so bump.
Absolutely. Could be a little bit of payback, possibly. Who knows? You're willing to get yourself a black flag and a hold for 43 seconds under any conditions. I'm surprised that Stephen Watton is on that third line.
Yeah. That is a bit nuts. His outside line, we talked about it earlier, how the outside line really gets a lot faster. Goodness gracious. Gets a lot faster as the night goes on. That has come to fruition here as Daniel Miller leads that outside line.
I think the drivers on the outside line, or rather in the 3 wide situation, are probably in the, you know what, I don't give a you know what. We're not going to catch them. Let's just race hard, just pray for a caution flag to come out. We're racing for a top 5 spot.
Well, if you look at the moves that some of these guys are making, especially all the bouncing around we're seeing, they may get that caution before long.
Absolutely. If only as well, Doug, if only you and I both, because you and I are both producers as well, from time to time. You're a producer as well. I do it on occasion too. I just wish you and I had the technology where we could have a second computer and pull the double box routine. We show the battle for the lead and we show this back at the same time.
Somebody was just in the wall on the front straightaway. It was a black car in that second group.
That was Miller in the 43.
I'm not 100% sure if he got in the wall or not, but it sure looked like he was.
Close. Oh, look out, look out, look out! 69 got sideways. That was Brett Edgar. Got into left lander. Does he merge up safely? It's close, and now they're going to rock here. Sideways goes Steven Rex. Big one breaks out hard, and the wall goes Noah Carpenter, and the caution flag is out. And that is not what the top 4 wanted.
And somehow, Parker Retzlaff kept that car off the wall. We'll take a look at it. Excuse me. That was wild. All right.
That was you knew it was coming. You just knew it was coming.
They were getting way too dicey, and I think this has started with Steven Rex. He comes up the track into Retzlaff and the 94. Retzlaff just barely avoids it. Let's take another look. Trying to find a couple of good shots of this one, because this is just nuts.
Maybe we get an number on Parker Retzlaff, because he kept that thing straight. I will
look at Steven Rex. He gets sideways, gets down, and collects everybody behind him. Steven Wetton. Holy crap. We're going to do the onboard with Steven Wetton first.
Yeah, I agree. Get that onboard up there. That was insane.
Let's I guarantee you Steven Wetton, hopefully he was wearing the brown pants.
It's probably, if it's not, it's that now.
Oh my goodness. I think he actually tapped just barely Steven Rex twice.
And then, wow. That's probably just cosmetic damage on the front.
I think it is. We'll try and get a quick zoom in on him. Does look like he's got some to the right front fender. It looks like it is banged in a little bit. But it will affect the draft, but it's not going to be a huge effect. And now everything changes. Every car on the lead lap. And where was Zach Edwards when that happened?
Taking a look here, he was many laps down. He's a couple laps down.
Daniel Miller may be getting waved back around. He may be back in the fight.
Well, absolutely. So, as we take a look at, you know who this also helps as well? The drivers that pitted like before lap 132 or so that couldn't go the distance, like Parker Retzlaff, etc. That is huge. So now every driver that's on the lead lap is pretty much back in this race with under 30 laps to go. Let's step aside and take a break, and when we come back, we'll take you to the finish here on how to suck at iRacing. Well, we are about set to come back for the restart, and in the words of Ken Squire, Grandma, put your teeth in your pocketbook. This is about to be a dandy. Yes, there are under 30 laps to go, a lot of time left in the race, but it is about to get wild. Austin Edwards and Matt Bear, row 1. Kendrick Cryer, Brett Edgar, row 2. Edmund Jones, Chase Johnson in row 3. Kyle Bartles, Ryan Seams, row 4. Carson Barrett, Sean Patrick round out the top 10. The black flag went to Stephen Rex, your wave-around drivers, Art Hendren, and Daniel Miller. There will be 27 laps of racing to go when we come back to the green flag. Barney pulls the pace truck into pit road. Barney's driving that one today because Aaron's up in the flag stand. We are ready to go racing. 27 laps to go. Green flag's back out.
And I have to say, throughout the race, I've been sucking on cough drops and candy just to hold my voice together. And I think I'm going to need a whole bunch more here in the next few minutes. This thing has been pretty calm so far, but 27 cars on the lead lap still. This thing's going to get really wild really quick because Austin out front cannot defend all 4 or 5 lanes of traffic here. He's going to have a lot of help. There's a lot of fast guys now back up here. A couple of notes. Edmund Jones now back up here. He was been fast all night. Kyle Bartles starting to make his way forward. Carson was up front earlier, making it through. Ryan Seams currently runs in 8th place. Gerald Thanos Poole is back up in 14th. You know, if I had to pick somebody in this lead pack, that's and he's got his teammates right there with him.
I can't pick anyone until they come off at turn 4. It's just way too close to tell you right now, but anyway, amongst the top 5, 3 of them are Moonlight Racing drivers. You've got Edwards leading, Cryer second, Edmund Jones in 4th. Good racing behind as they're double wide. There is one driver that's on that high line 3 wide. That is Scott Gilliatt in the 13th position. They've got Colgan in the middle, and underneath is Sean Patrick.
And what about Scott Gilliatt? He's avoided all the chaos tonight. This is his best run so far, and he's got one of the boys right down below him. Yeah, he is still in this fight. It would be awesome to see Scott get up here and get a top 10 tonight.
Been very quiet in this race. 25 circuits remain at Auto Club Speedway.
You know that top 4 nose to tail? Look at how close they are. They are actually trying to pull away Brett Edgar's hanging on to the draft, but if these top 4 start to do what they did earlier, it could end very quickly.
And how about Brett Edgar as well? Remember, he started on pole, led lap 1, I think, in this race, then fell to the back of the field, and now he's running in 5th with a chance to win this race.
All right, so we've got 25 laps to go. Everybody drop in the comments. Let's see who gets the pick. Let's everybody pick who you think will be a winner here.
It's going to be insane. Chase Johnson 6th, Ryan Seams 7th, just had a change, I believe, as well for a position. Mason Foster in 8th, Robert Colgan 9th. The changes for 10th. They're double wide for that final spot in the top 10 and losing ground quickly, perhaps. Carson Barrett, Kyle Bartles, side by side.
Man, look at them coming down this back straightaway. Look how much these cars, especially from the middle of the back on. I mean, we did not see very many cars on pit road for 4 tires and fuel, so these guys with those caution laps extended their fuel mileage. They are good to go. But the tire wear, you don't often say it's going to be an issue at a super speedway race. It could be an issue here tonight.
I can't remember as well. We just had actually real quick our first 47-second lap of the night, guys. Mason Foster, 47.981 in the 8th position. That could be 5 bonus points worthy.
Definitely looking like it. Everybody's pushing to the absolute limit, but man, it's taken all night long to get to that speed. I don't know how many more people could pull that off, and Mason was in the perfect position. He had a push from behind. He was right at the edge of the draft, so he started gaining ground quickly on Ryan Seams.
You know, I can't recall the last time I saw this many cars have a chance to win in a race in a 2-mile race, a 2-mile track type race.
Last
I
Michigan
think you got to go
race.
back to I think it was 2021.
Yep.
Where he saw an in race in the finish.
Yeah. That last race at Michigan, I think we had 20 cars coming take the white flag on the lead lap in a big pack, and I think we had about 15 of them wreck coming to the finish line.
And we're seeing a second lane that could be developed. Brett Edgar switches up to the top. Chase Johnson and Ryan Seams wants to go for it too. Johnson and Seams both had 47.94 laps. Seams better in the fastest lap column by 1/1000th of a second of 47.937. Decided it doesn't work, so they drop down to the bottom. It is 9 cars nose to tail, but about a second separate Robert Colgan from Carson Barrett, and they're losing time quickly.
Man, Flying Ryan is definitely kicking in the afterburner here, and he closes back up that lead pack, as you mentioned, 9 cars deep now. Back to Alex Krapser in 10th, 1.1 second and falling, but Krapser is getting a huge push from Retzlaff right now. Retzlaff has been one of the best at pushing people tonight, and we saw him bring a 4. Oh, look at this! He's going to let Retzlaff take the position.
I'm very surprised at that. I think Retzlaff wants Krapser to push him. He believes Krapser is the better push and they can move towards the front. How about the guy in 12th? Jose Gaudino could have a chance to win this race with 20 laps to go.
Jose Gaudino is there with teammate Carson Barrett. Gerald Thanos, pool team owner, back there in 15th. Those 3 cars are still in it. What about Scott Gilliott and Adam Gilliott together as well? They're running 16th and 17th at the moment.
This could get interesting. Second line tries to form up once again. This time Chase Johnson and Ryan Seams push each other. Johnson's up to 5th. He looks for 4th on Edmund Jones on the bottom. Here you see the bump draft down the back straight, but it doesn't seem to work. How will it go in the corners? Will they keep the draft going? We'll see what happens.
Well, Flying Ryan up there giving the push. I have to say that outside line has really been coming in. They need to pull down, and they're doing it just right. They're getting right there to get the side draft while bump drafting down the front straightaway. We've seen this work, and it looks like a couple of the guys back behind are thinking about hopping up there and joining them. And they do.
They want to do it. There he goes, up to the outside. They leave Cryer and Edwards, the teammates, down to the bottom, and same with a 51 to 69.
The Mad Bear is definitely doing it for Dale tonight. He is on a mission here tonight, and he's been calling out Ty Majeski. Wow. That would be an interesting battle.
This could help out Retzlaff and company start to close in a bit. They are single file from 10th on back. The gap is 2.4 seconds behind the leader. Bear's got to run in the making the third position if he can nip his way past Edmund Jones on the line, which he does.
And what about Edmund's run here tonight? Been in the top 10 all night. He's been having a much better season this season. Gotta say, he's one of those guys that might be worth keeping a very close eye on as the season goes on. But great to see Edmund. I know Edmund for being a short track and dirt guy, so it's awesome to see him doing so well up here tonight.
Look at the push by Chase Johnson to Matt Bear, who looks for second spot entering turn 3, but it doesn't work.
Robert Colgan just hanging out there at the back of the group, doing exactly what he needs to do. Robert likely just going to sit there and hang out till the last couple laps and see what he can do. Meanwhile, Parker Retzlaff and crew are losing time again. They are 3 seconds behind the lead pack.
And they're single file too. It's very surprising to see what's going on. It will be interesting to see the questions that are brought up to the drivers post-race when we talk with your top 3 here. Let's keep in mind as well for the folks at home, the rules with 10 laps to go or under. If we hit 10 to go, the caution flag comes out. There will be, oh, hang on, Gerald Poole just said something. We get turned. Oh, we got cars making a lot of contact all over. Do we have a wreck? We do. Poole's up in the wall. And he saves it. And they're hearing there was contact with Scott Gilliatt.
Oh, what a heartbreak for Thanos.
That really cost that pack a lot of time.
Let's see if we can see what happened with Gilliatt and Thanos here. There is the 33. The 454 goes to the high side. They're 4 wide off of turn 2. Thanos gets a little loose. That outside line. Oh, Jim Johnson pushes down a little bit onto Thanos, and that's where the chaos happens. Gerald gets the wall, but he saves it.
That's a tough break for all of them, that's for sure.
And especially tough for Caution.
Caution is out with 16 to go. I don't know what it's for.
I don't know either at the moment. Let's scroll through the field here.
Let me take... Is it for Scott Gilliatt? I think so. He was in the wall, but he never spun. Oh, there was some contact. He came down into Noah Carpenter. Oh my good. That one, I don't know. That's ridiculous.
Oh, Gerald had nowhere to go. Poor Gerald. You got to feel bad for Gerald on this one. First he gets knocked. Oh, and then he gets Noah Carpenter.
That's ridiculous. I don't know what to say about that. That's horrible.
That was...
When you've got cars coming on the bottom, you have to stay up there. That's horrible.
He tried to come down multiple times and unfortunately got into several cars, including Gerald Poole. Now, this pulls Gerald, after the earlier incident, back up into the lead pack, but let's see if we can get a close look at his car.
I just looked at something beforehand. He was actually turned head-on in the wall by John Brancaccio. We couldn't catch it on our live timing systems that we have, so that may be suspension damage off the 21. So, Scott, if you had suspension damage, I apologize for what I said beforehand. At the same time, though, you have to control your car, though.
Let's back up this replay just a little bit and see if we can catch what happened. And, yeah, it does. The 454 gets into his right rear. Hard right front hit into that outside wall. That may very well, he holds it straight for a minute, but no, he can't. Look at the right front. He turns and the whole right front collapses. Gerald had nowhere to go. He just started playing. I bet that right front was just gone.
Yeah, normally when the right front is gone off that race car, that car will legit stay tucked up next to the wall, if you understand my point.
Yeah, I think Scott was in a situation where he had no control over what was happening here. Now we're about to see a wild, even wilder finish here. And we were under... No, we are not under 10 to go, so there will be waiver rounds.
Yep, so they're giving the black flag to Johnny B here in this situation, which is very unfortunate to see there. With his chances for a win will end. Kieran Liftlander, Jim Johnson, Art Hendren will get waiver rounds. So now there's the caution that Parker Retzlaff on back wanted.
And that is going to put 2 more drivers back on the lead lap. That'll put both Kieran and Jimmy and Art, all 3 of them, back to the lead lap. So we're looking at, what, 28, 29 cars battling for this. Oh, wow, it's going to get bumpy.
So now what do you do here? Do you stay double file or do you move down to single file? I mean, with 13 laps to go, I think you pretty much have to go double file on out. You take that high side if it comes to you.
I think you close your eyes. Honestly, these guys are in for one heck of a wild ride here. We talked about it earlier, that race at Michigan a couple of years ago, and how wild that last little bit of that race got. We've seen how aggressive everybody has cranked it up here the last few laps since the last restart. Now, only our 3rd caution of the night, but 2 of them in the last, 20 laps.
Now, you did the Charlotte race. I believe that was our last super speedway race.
Correct.
What happened in those final laps? I wasn't there. I know you were.
It really was probably one of the more tame super speedway endings, because it was a green flag run toward the end, and everything was pretty smooth. There was a small group that wrecked off of turn 4 with just like 2 laps to go, and there was a question if they were going to clear traffic or not. But for the most part, that was a pretty clean finish.
All right, let's reset the field here. We'll have 12 laps of racing to go. Austin Edwards, Kendrick Cryer, row 1. Matt Bear, Edmund Jones, row 2. Chase Johnson, Brett Edgar, row 3. Ryan Seams, Mason Foster, row 4. Robert Colgan, Parker Retzlaff, round out your top 10.
Now, does this top 4 or 5 break away again here? Can they get organized quickly enough? And, yeah, I don't think so.
About to see what happens. 12 laps to go. Green flag back out.
It is still anybody's race. Officially, 28 cars still on the lead lap.
Scattered start as they make their way into turn 1.
The 4 wide toward the back. We've got
Edwards. Wow, I believe that's Brancaccio on the outside. He's trying to get back down to serve his penalty. Meanwhile, Edwards has Cryer clear, or does he?
Nope.
Entering turn 3. He does not.
And a blink out of Matt Bear, as I mentioned earlier, just due to the physics of the game. If that car behind you or in front of you, if that car blinks for however long it blinks, the game does not read a car there, so it does not simulate the air. It does not simulate the draft or break.
Cryer looks for the race lead, entering turn 1. And we're seeing a gap start to form up just a bit between Barrett and Gilliatt. Adam Gilliatt, to be specific.
Parker Retzlaff has made his way. He is in this lead pack as the 2 groups start to separate just a little bit. Gerald Poole still in this lead group as well, back in 22nd, looking for some help. I did not see significant. No, he does have some right front damage, but staying on Noah Carpenter's bumper here.
And Edwards has Cryer clear as they make their way off of turn number 4. 10 laps to go. We'll have 28 drivers on the lead lap. They'll have a chance at winning this race, if not 27. Still, the Moonlight teammates of Edwards and Cryer, door to door for the race lead. Then it's Matt Bear in the Dropping Bombs 3 car, trying to do it for Dale. He's in P3.
And what about Edmund Jones up there in P4?
Look at this. Mason Foster tries to thread the needle in the 96 car owned by Gerald Poole. He tucks it back up high.
Oh, he is going. No. Looks like Seams saw that one coming and closed the door before he can make the gap, but he's going to try and stick the nose in anyway.
Tries underneath Colgan. This may end ugly. Sideways off of 4. Saves it. 9 to go in Michigan at the line.
Wow. This is getting nuts. Mason is looking for any way to the front, but everybody paying close attention and not making it easy on him for sure.
Seems like 12 cars will have a chance to win if we reach 5 to go without a caution.
Parker Retzlaff and Carson Barrett, the last two. Jose Godino leading that second group at the moment, but there is a gap of 1.25 seconds.
Not what Jose Godino and Brett Meckes and company behind really want. Especially when you had a lot of guys up there that had a chance at winning this race tonight. 8 to go at the line here at All Club Speedway. Edwards sideways. Matt Beer gives him the chrome horn off for turn 4, but he keeps it straight.
Man, it is getting dicey out here. Everybody pushing, you know exactly what Matt Bear is trying to do. He's trying to push Austin far enough forward that he can get a run up to the high side, do what he needs to do. He's going to try and get a gap here that he can fit his car into. Meanwhile, Edmund Jones pushing Kendrick Cryer on the high side, and the outside line is starting to form as we've got one car up top.
That's one of the Tri-Equala Crew drivers. That's Colgan in the 7. He's got Brett Edgar in front of him, but I don't think he really has the speed to be able to do it, though. Oh, hang on. Cryer loose. Had contact from his team behind. Look out, Brett Edgar. Sideways into the pit lane he goes. Ryan Seaves up the racetrack. Does a wreck break out? They save it. They keep it straight.
No.
For how long? Caution is out.
Oh, my.
What the heck has happened? Matt Bear, unbelievable save. Wow.
Do you know what this means?
We may have overtime.
We might. Let's see what the crap happened off of turn 4, starting with Flying Ryan. Looks
Mason
like they
Foster just gave him a bump to Brett Edgar. Him and Ryan Seams get sideways, and then what happened in front?
Let's take another look first at the Ryan Seams incident from a better angle. Oh, Retzlaff just taps Foster. Foster into the 69. And
it seems like... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Ryan Seams comes up in the middle of the track, and everybody somehow get around him. And now let's see what happened out in front of him, because Brett Edgar was in this mess. And I think it was a matter of everybody trying to save it.
It seems like as well, Chase Johnson hooked Matt Bear as well. Matt Bear angry at Johnson in the chat. And then Johnson came down to Bear, then came down to Foster. That could be some serious damage with the new damage model that these street stocks have.
See
and
if
so
we
the caution flag
get
will
a
come out.
Look at Matt.
There are going to be some tempers hot in the XCAL garage after this race.
Matt got a tap that sent him up the track. See if we can get a shot from the blimp on this one. There's Matt Bear on the bottom, and the 28 just clips him in the right rear. He goes up, almost has it saved, but the 28 bounces off, I believe, Edmund, and Matt Bear, and he comes down. Great job by that second pack, though.
Yes, absolutely. We got to give them credit. When you had all those drivers come up the racetrack, they slowed down immediately to bring the caution out.
And this is going to shake everything back up. Austin Edwards, Kendrick Cryer, Edmund Jones, Chase Johnson still in the top 4. But now Parker Retzlaff up into 5th. Alex Crapser 6th. Carson Barrett now in 7th. Colgan in 8th. Brett Edgar 9th. And Adam Gilliott now up to 10th. Several cars having to go in for some repairs. Godino, Carpenter, Jeremy Gilliott, Mason Foster on pit road. Ryan Seams on pit road. Wow.
That's a tough break. A lot of good cars that had a chance to win taken out of this. This is going to get interesting now because you've got, from the looks of it, a Moonlight front row, a JNS row 2, who we thought were going to be out of this race from the lap 2 accident. And then you've got Barrett and Colgan in row number 3. That is a Poole and Edgar owned ride. an Edgar and Jilliet owned ride in row number 3. And then it is an Edgar and Moonlight car rounding out your top 10 for this restart. That could put us into overtime, or even in general, maybe a one-lap shootout.
Gonna take a look here and see. Matt Bear has got a bit of damage on that car after smacking into the inside wall. It does look like Matt's gonna have to go to pit road for repairs. And like you said, a lot of tempers are flaring right now.
Absolutely. Bear called out Chase Johnson in the chat, and there was and from what I heard on the call out, that was not just furious that his race ended. It was personal.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think there will be a few protests coming here in a little bit.
Oh, you bet. So we will have a 3-lap shootout here to determine who wins this. It'll be our final restart of the evening because there are no more cautions in this race. Take a deep breath, everyone, because it's the last deep breath you're going to have. You're going to have to hold your breath for these final 3 laps. Kendrick Cryer, Austin Edwards, row 1. Alex Krapser, Parker Retzlaff, row 2. Carson Barrett, Robert Colgan, row 3. Adam Gilliat, Brett Edgar, row 4. Brent Meckes, and Kieran Lifflander, who was a lap down, I believe, earlier in this race, will restart in the top 10. And Jim Johnson as well, after being a lap down as well, will restart row 7.
Yeah, don't count Jim out. Gerald's back there with his team. 3 laps to go. If you've got a really good restart, anybody on this lead lap could still be in this.
If you're in it, you can win it. It's a Moonlight front row. Edwards, or rather it be Edwards and Cryer, your front row. Green flag.
Yeah, here we go. It'll take them a little bit to get these cars back up to speed, and somebody's going to try and make a move here on the high side, and looking like we've got one peeking out already.
We got some cars sideways already entering turn 1. I believe that was Lifflander in the 46. He keeps it straight. Edwards has Cryer cleared thanks to Parker Retzlaff.
They're 4 wide at the back.
Unbelievable. They don't care.
They are trying everything they can. This front row is definitely going to... Parker Retzlaff and Austin Edwards, who had words after last week's race, and a little bit of trouble between the two of them. Now Retzlaff is the one keeping Austin going.
A rivalry that could be renewed. 2 laps, 4 miles remain at Auto Club Speedway. Edwards, Cryer, Retzlaff, Krapser, and Barrett, your top 5 at the line. Still double file amongst the front 6 into turn 1. And they've got a breakaway on Brent Meckes and Brett Edgar.
That's, wow. This is really, this is going to come down to a 6-car race if they don't find some speed. But it does look like Meckes and crew are gaining a little bit of ground. They were coming off turn 2, but man, down the back stretch, that top 6 pulled away. They are staying double file.
Oh, Edwards sideways! But he got so much speed entering the corner, he actually cleared Kendrick Cryer. Off in turn 4, Doctor's jacket in the air. 1 lap to go in Fontana, California. Edwards has Cryer cleared, but not until now. Cryer with a run entering turn 1.
And yep, here we go, off into turn 1. There's a car rolling off pit road. Top 6, nose to tail. Everybody trying to get something.
Cryer sideways. Cryer sideways off of turn 2. Crashing from behind. We stay green. 1 mile remains.
Oh boy.
Cryer with the run. Entering turn 3. No side draft needed. The big push from Alex Krapser. Moonlight row 1. JNS row 2. Who's gonna win it? Hold your breath up in turn 4. Into the home stretch. Austin Edwards. Big push from Parker Retzlaff. Crashing further on from behind. Austin Edwards is gonna...
Oh! Ho, ho, ho. Austin
Edwards
gets the win barely. Parker Retzlaff comes home second. Kendrick Cryer comes home in third. And what a last lap that was.
That was a lot of fun to watch at the end, folks.
Holy crap, I cannot believe Retzlaff got the car in there. What a move at the end.
It's Tokyo Drift time here. California Dreamin' is Austin Edwards tonight.
Yep, there he goes. He gets his drift through 3 and 4. Yep, that is Austin Edwards, happy to be back in victory lane. And these are the races that he struggles with, the super speedways. I do believe this is his first super speedway win.
Last time he won on a super speedway, the season finale at Charlotte last season.
Oh, that's right, with a push across the line.
Second win of the season for Austin Edwards. He'll close in on Parker Retzlaff's lead. It was 67 points coming into tonight. But how fun was that, ladies and gentlemen?
Man,
we will get the top 3 on in here momentarily.
A lot of guys, though, that were extremely fast there at throughout the race. That last few laps, just really, things did not go their way there at the end.
Absolutely, that's for sure. So we will get your top 3 on in here momentarily. Parker Retzlaff, Kendrick Cryer, and Austin Edwards. Get them an XCAL Racing Web Shop victory lane. While we are at it, don't forget next week we are at our first race at Long Beach. So stay tuned for that next week on the family of How to Second iRacing Networks. Let's begin with our third place finisher in Kendrick Cryer. Kendrick, my goodness, those final laps. Walk us through your strategy. Obviously, you and Austin were on that front row, just trying to make sure that a Moonlight car would win this race.
Yeah, that's what we tried. I mean, the last couple of cautions really screwed us up. Otherwise, we would have won, probably 1 through 4, 100%. But you know what, stuff happens. But I probably could have won if Crapser pushed me the whole way. But nope, he didn't. He decided to let off my bumper the last half a lap, so that's nice. But oh well, we'll take P3 in these races. I've always had bad luck in these super speedway races.
Were you surprised as well with that caution that came out with about, I think, what was it, 40 laps to go or something, because that pack lost so much time and they pretty much said, let's just go double file?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we had them covered then, but with the strategy and everything, I mean, we were pulling away. We'd have definitely 1 through 4, but oh well. I guess what are you gonna do?
Absolutely. Well, buddy, it was a good run. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
I want to thank PD for Moonlight Speed and putting me on for this season. It's definitely been fun. Definitely been saving fuel more than actually driving the car this whole season, but oh well. We'll get them. I won't be running next week, but we'll be back for Phoenix.
Favorite item at the XCAL Racing Web Shop, what is it?
Do what?
Favorite item at the XCAL Racing Web Shop?
I actually haven't looked at the web shop, but I like their hats.
Okay. Get a hat. There you go. All right, man. We'll let you go. Great job tonight.
Thanks.
So, that is our third place finisher, Kendrick Cryer. Let's get to Parker Retzlaff, our runner-up. Parker, you look like you were pushing at Daytona in those final couple of laps, man. What more were you trying to do to try and steal that win from the Moonlight drivers?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of fell back in the race trying to help my teammates, so I just finally got back up there with Alex, but he had a bunch of damage, so I needed Austin to clear Kendrick, but I knew it was going to be difficult because they were on the same team and helping each other, so I don't know really what I could have done differently. I was kind of just trapped in this file and without, like, wrecking a bunch of cars. There wasn't really anything I could do besides just try and finish second, but it's a good points tonight. You know, just keep running consistent and be here every week and trying to keep getting the wins out of here in top fives, and it'll all work itself out in the end of the year.
I want to get an idea from your perspective here in that long run before that second yellow came out. From your perspective, even while you guys had more cars in a single file line, why were you guys losing so much time compared to the leaders?
Just people being scared of pushing each other through the corners, and Austin and them were pushing each other all the way around the racetrack. It's so much faster to just stay connected around the whole racetrack. Like me and Zach and Alex caught good 6-7 seconds on that first run of the race, just all being connected around the whole racetrack. So that's all it comes down to, and it was just people with inexperience and not wanting to cause wrecks. And in these races like this, you got to be willing to take risks, just like you said, Daytona and all that. So I mean, it was overall a good night. I'll take the top 3, and me and Alex finishing both top 5.
It was a good run for you, man. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Just Zach and everyone at JNS, and everyone watching. I know there's some of my family watching the stream, so just thank you to all of them and everyone who supports me, and Funkaway and Ponzi and TDM.
I gotta hear one more thing though from you. Was your car as fast as Xfinity 10G tonight?
It was as fast as Xfinity 10G at the end of the race, but
yes.
Maybe if you'd run it faster than Xfinity 10G, we would have won the race. But we'll keep getting better.
I had to hear it, man. I had to hear it from you. All right, buddy. We'll let you go. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
That's our second place finisher in Parker Retzlaff. We now move on to XCAL Racing Web Shop Victory Lane. His second win of the season. Austin Edwards. Man, that was a wild sequence in those final laps. What was your strategy? Just trying to make sure that you and Kendrick were trying to make sure that a Moonlight car was in victory lane. Kendrick was trying to make sure that he just got a huge push, but Parker just gave you a great push in those final laps.
Hey, Marty, it was pretty unfortunate. We were pretty set up for the first 3 quarters of the race there. We had really, really good fuel mileage. We had some really good pushers. Obviously, teammate Jim Johnson was out there being a good leader for us out there. We had Matt Bear with us for the first little while. He was working well with us, and then the caution came out and it all fell apart from there. So eventually we lost Edmund, we lost Matt, and the rest of our guys couldn't get up here quick enough. So just me and Kendrick there at the end. We knew that the bottom 2 lanes were fast, so we tried to stick down there as best as we could. We were expecting a third group to come up, but luckily nothing came up fast enough because we were getting pushed hard enough. So it was just a matter of holding on for dear life. Parker under my rear bumper pretty harshly. I'm sure it was the same for Kendrick with Crapser up there, but it worked out pretty good. 2 cars in the top 3 is a pretty good day.
Did you get loose off of turn 4 coming to the checkers? I thought I saw your car get sideways just for a bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough, Marty. Parker had my back tires off the ground for most of those last few laps, and saw him go dive to the inside and try to make a pass on the apron, which I know you're not allowed to do. And it's racer's instinct. You second guess yourself. You try to block whatever you see in your mirror there. So I almost went down there to block him, but then I realized it's not allowed anyways. So it was just racer's instinct there, and I was already sideways because of getting pushed and all that, and it was rough. I don't know how we kept it straight across the line there, but it all worked out pretty well. So.
Well, next week, man, we've got a fun one. First time ever we go to Long Beach. Give us your thoughts on going there next week and how you prepare for a brand new track like that. Obviously, there's a lot of practice that goes on throughout the weekend.
Well, I'm very prepared, Marty. I've run Long Beach in some other leagues and stuff like that, and obviously very different cars and such, but biggest thing is going to be learning the fuel strategy and the gearbox of running a street stock around Long Beach because there are some very, very tight corners. Obviously, qualifying is going to be important because with those tight corners, stack-ups are going to be god-awful in the back there. So I'm hoping to get a good qualifying run there and start up front, stay up front, and keep some gas in the tank and pretty much go from there. It's going to be interesting.
All righty. Well, who do you want to give shout-outs to on this run?
Well, first I got to give a shout-out to all the guys that worked with us today. Not only Kendrick and all the dropping bombs guys and Edmund Jones and his cars, but even Matt Bear up here was real helpful for a little while, and we had some really good chemistry going, and just didn't quite work out in the end there. But overall, really good job to these guys today. We worked really well together, just didn't play in the cards of everybody. But also a big thank you to Moonlight Speed Concepts. Let me drive this car this season. Unfortunately, ownership wasn't an option for me this year, so I'm having a blast as a driver once again.
Win 2 of the season. Go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you, Marty.
Austin Edwards in the XCAL Racing Web Shop Victory Lane, and of course his winter shirt will be available within the coming days on the XCAL Racing Web Shop. XCALRacing.com/shop is your way to go. All right, let's pot up your unofficial results here from tonight. We had 31 lead changes in the race. As I'm counting the different leaders here, bear with me, I'm just trying to tally everything. We had 18 different leaders in this race. That's just about half the field in that one. Most laps were led by Austin Edwards at 49. 31 lead changes tonight. Here is your final rundown. Austin Edwards, the winner. Parker Retzlaff, second. Kendrick Cryer, third. Carson Barrett, fourth. Alex Krapser, fifth. Robert Colgan, sixth. Adam Gilliat, seventh. Brett Meckes, eighth. Kieran Lifflander, ninth. Derek Colson, 10th. Jim Johnson, 11th. Brett Edgar, 12th. Art Hendren, 13th. Albie Hewins, 14th. Stephen Wetton, 15th. 16th belongs to Kyle Bartle. 17th, Edmund Jones. 18th, Jeremy Gilliat. 19th, Jose Gaudino. And 20th belongs to Stephen Rex. Doug?
John Brancaccio comes home 21st, Sean Patrick in 22nd, Gerald Poole in 23rd, Noah Carpenter 24th, Mason Foster 25th, Chase Johnson in 26th, Daniel Miller 27th, Matt Bear sadly 28th, Zach Edwards 29th, and John Friley in 30th. Ryan Seams comes home 31st after a great run all night. Scott Gilliat 32nd, Joe Campbell 33rd, Sean Andrews 34th, and Colin Lawrence rounding out the field.
A fun race here tonight on How to Suck at iRacing. And of course, like we mentioned, next week we go to the streets of Long Beach in California. A new race for XCAL Racing. We are definitely looking forward to that one. Give us your thoughts on that and how tight it's going to be as well when racing side by side through the corners.
That's the big one is going to be the fountain turn. I think we're going to see a lot of chaos for that one. So I think there's a lot of tight turns, as Austin mentioned, a lot of straightaways. You're coming into some of these turns at high speed. You got to get the car down. But there's two turns, that final turn and that fountain turn that, man, it's going to get interesting.
Absolutely. I think the fountain corner will likely be Calamity Corner. That will likely be Calamity Corner next week, if not possibly the final hairpin corner at Long Beach. So with that, we will sign off here for tonight. And make sure as well, before we let you go, if you're interested in becoming an XCAL super fan, make sure you go to our Patreon at patreon.com/XCAL Racing. On behalf of everyone at XCAL Racing and the XCAL Racing web shop, Aaron Hillebush, the president, PDJ Zello, the vice president, and all the fine senior admins. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Doug Burns, Marty Scala sign off. Congratulations to Austin Edwards, your winner of the XCAL Racing Web Shop 400 at Auto Club. So long, everyone.